done.
Like hair colors?
No, color analysis.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, we think we're both winters.
I thought
crap.
you were. See, you are Metro. I'm like, he's Metro. He totally knows what this is.
The color thing, that was like from 3 decades ago.
Oh, no.
It's back in again.
In fact, you're going to come when we do it.
All right, fine, I will. Unbelievable. Let me Jeff, don't feel bad.
You're not Metro. Yeah, no, only Mark knows.
Introduce the panel here. Sue Thomas is here on a Friday.
Hi.
And she will have a Friday edition of Sue's News, and we'll have a lot of fun. Jane Duker will also hang with us through the roundtable in the 4 o'clock hour. Gene Evans is here, political consultant for Go Consulting, former executive director of the state GOP. How are you, Gene?
I'm fantastic. It's a beautiful day.
And it's Jeff Rainford, my date for the Mizzou game tomorrow with Rainford & Associates, former chief of staff for Mayor Slay. He invited me to the game. We're going tomorrow with your cousin who is an A&M fan, right?
Oh, big time. And grad, yeah. M-I-Z, though.
ZOU. We'll talk about that at the end of the roundtable. We'll get a little preview of the game, but I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to feel like fall tomorrow, too. I think it's going to be a little chilly. So the story that just kind of broke that, Gene, you were the one who informed me. Thank you very much. The host wasn't prepping as much as he should be, but we have a story that broke earlier today about Peabody leaving downtown St. Louis. Jeff, I think you were even on the KMOX side of the building here a little while ago doing an interview about that. They're the latest company to leave. Obviously, this has become a bit of a trend there on Market Street. And they're going to move to Manchester Road in I-270 in De Pere. Yep. So what does this say about our the state of our city when it comes to commercial properties and businesses?
Well, it's bad. I mean, it's now, the KMOX reporter asked me, is this the death knell or whatever? The problem with downtown is it's been a death by, if not 1,000 cuts, 100 cuts. And there's just been nothing positive on the positive side. And there's nothing can be done. It's done. The deal is done. You can gnash your teeth. But at the end of the day, downtown is going to need some major permanent actions, major permanent actions, not something temporary like the National Guard or whatever, but something permanent on crime, something permanent on businesses moving their jobs downtown. Something permanent on residential development. And because the other part of it is, I know the greater St. Louis is probably still thinking they're going to get $100 million in Rams money, but with the tornado, I can't imagine that happening. And so half measures like, a tax credit for your storefront or whatever, it's way too late for that. Way beyond that.
The trend,
so we need some big things and big and permanent, not just show things, big permanent things happen downtown.
So when you guys do the roundtable in a couple of years, hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn, Sue. I speak out of turn quite a bit. You won't be coming here because our company knows, and we are apparently the most dangerous group of stations in the entire country, not making this up. Odyssey cannot wait to move us out of this building because of safety issues primarily. And it's going to be a couple of years because there's a lease.
Right.
But the trend that we're talking about, it's going to continue. We're going to move. I've been told, pretty convinced of it. Others
have moved.
Right. They all have.
Right.
So Jeff, what do you do to get people back?
So
they're coming back.
Well, you need lots of things, but
Yes.
the first one thing you need is we'll need an all hands on deck. We have a new attorney general. We have a new governor who both care about St. Louis. I actually heard Brian Williams, a candidate for county executive, at a fundraising speech the other night saying anybody who thinks downtown doesn't matter to the region's got another thing coming. We have to have everybody come together on the one issue of crime. Like, I'm going to drop his name, but Court of Appeals Judge Gary Gertner has been trying to get everybody's attention, including the governor. And I think we just have to bring everybody together and no fooling around plan. And it's not about the crime stats because women are not going to want to walk around downtown if they're not going to be reassured by crime stats. So we not only have to drive crime out of downtown, people have to feel like it's a permanent thing.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's anywhere to start other than that, but by itself, that won't be enough.
I agree with everything he said. I did work for Peabody. I spent a lot of time in that building. And
we did
it's
that
a blow.
deal.
We did a deal together on it, and I worked for them for a long time.
Because you hate the environment. Why do you hate the environment?
I was an energy Democrat.
No,
so,
I know you were.
But anyway, it is death by 1,000 cuts. And then I read, and it's funny because before Peabody announced, I read this in the Business Journal about Greater St. Louis saying, you know what, like we don't need to worry about numbers. We don't need to worry about like trying to get the population to a certain number. Let's not play numbers games. And I'm like, dude, what planet are you on? And do you live here? That's what I want to know is, does he live here? And so we have got, I agree, crime stats are not enough. The crime stats are crap, but you're right, though. We are beyond even crime stats at this point because we've heard zero about crime in a year. Zero
I would agree
about
with you.
hiring new police officers.
Right.
Last thing I heard about policing is they're going to go after police overtime. Okay, well, hire 400 more, and maybe you can stop worrying about overtime. So we have to walk and chew gum. We have to take care of crime. And I hope Brian Williams gets elected because I actually think if they can get a hold of what's the East-West Gateway and other organizations, that there can be a more unified approach. And I think that Brian and Carol will work well together. And so I think he totally understands the crime issue. And so I do think we could make progress on that. But even if you banish crime, like Jeff has said, if all the buildings are empty and there's broken windows and graffiti and not a building, and look, you can, when I leave here at 5 o'clock on Friday, this place is dead. Now, St. Louis was never like, but there were always people walking around. I worked down here for 20 years where I went to happy hour on Friday. There were places to go to lunch. You cannot get a lunch in downtown St. Louis now.
That's right.
You can't walk. If you work in City Hall, there's really, other than the docket, other than the Saracenos who've been committed to our city, there's nowhere to go for lunch. That I can't even fathom that. We used to have to think about which of the 20 places were we going to go to lunch.
Yep.
So, yes, as a woman, I am not going to walk downtown. Even if you tell me crime stats are better. When you see empty buildings, homeless people, and completely drug-addled people taking over, the center of $152 million of investment, that does not instill confidence.
No, it doesn't. Now, so what
Head in the sand has to be the first thing that stops.
So that's
this
why,
idea that we're doing great, quit lying.
That's why I said this guy who bought the AT&T building is out of his mind if he thinks he can fill that place. No, it's not going to happen.
That place used to be just a hub of, there were people everywhere going in and out of the AT&T building. I also worked downtown.
Peabody.
Yeah, you're right. Like, we had to decide where we were going to lunch and get there early if you couldn't make a reservation because it was packed. And there were people were packed. And I came down here as recently as 2017 in the evening to go to ball games, and I'd be by myself. We'd have political events. Mm-hmm. I won't do that now. I haven't been able to do that since COVID.
I wouldn't walk from this building to the stadium.
No.
You know
how I would say not to do it? Because I've done it, and I haven't felt safe. Sometime crossing over, Tucker in particular.
And if you're in a car, you might get hit. There's no enforcement of traffic laws whatsoever. So it's not great even driving down here.
But thank goodness we are regulating golf carts. Thank God. And thank God we're defunding Boeing. That's what the Board of Aldermen is talking about, is defunding Boeing.
So explain that, because Rasheen Aldridge does not like, the progressives do not like the fact that there's some investments from the city, Jeff, that are tied to Israel.
Yeah, they
want
the Quakers, they want to do whatever the Quaker investment thing is. That is theater. They know it's theater. They know that the board of, first of all, in full disclosure, I get a city pension. I am not on the board, but the people who are on the board are people like me who either are retired or work for the city. I think the mayor has one appointment, maybe two, but it's removed from city government. Their job is to maximize the returns so that when I go to the mailbox, the check is actually there.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that this resolution, if it passes, will go into the circular file. I'm pretty sure that Megan Green, who's the co-sponsor and is up for re-election, and I think probably senses that she is in trouble, is putting on her own kabuki theater to try to show her bona
But does that
fides.
instill confidence in the Does that instill confidence in the region?
No, of course
that
not.
These people are focused on this nonsense. What really, really chaps me is if Rasheen Aldridge showed up anywhere near Israel or Palestine, they would shoot him.
Yeah.
Well, again,
because he's gay.
Yeah,
I am not
he
defending them.
You're
I'm
right.
not-
Not Israel.
Not in Israel.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not Israel.
I think it's
I said near Israel, but yeah.
it's a worthless idea, but I did read the resolution. It does not mention either of those issues. The Quakers have a thing. They're the peace lovers, Ben Franklin and all that. They have a thing where it would include Boeing, but it doesn't pencil out Boeing and it doesn't pencil in the Palestinians. It says this Quaker website that tells you how peaceniks, which is a mean word to use, people who want peace, like Quakers, where to invest. So it doesn't single out
There
Boeing
is a
or
ceasefire.
Palestine. And the reason they did it that way, again, is I don't think they are serious about changing world affairs
Right.
by passing a resolution. They're covering their own you-know-what's with an election
How
coming
about
up.
if Rasheen Aldridge and Megan Green actually get together and they say, "Wow, we got businesses leaving downtown St. Louis like crazy. How do we fix
Well,
that?" But they
You
don't care
understand.
about that
They're
stuff.
happy about it. That
Well, I don't know
apartment-
whether they're happy, but they contribute to it. So this kind of got skipped over a little bit, but there was a deal
The
to
apart-
redevelop over at
Yes.
Kings Highway
Thank
and
you.
Oakland Avenue, and the administration first, Tashara and then Kara negotiated a deal, but then when the bill went to the Board of Aldermen, Megan decided to renegotiate it and get more out of the developer, who then said, well, then we're not going to do the development.
Illegal
and
exactions.
in the story where the Post reported that, Otis Williams, who's the head of development in the city, said the pipeline is bare. And we're talking about citywide now, not just downtown. So the criticism of them is valid.
And that if I were Michael Browning, I believe that's his district, his ward. Because he's sort of got rushed in with the progressives. I hope he has learned his lesson, because I guess they were mad about this was petty politics. He was right. He said it openly to the Post-Dispatch, saying, I wouldn't support something of theirs, so they killed the project. And this idea, no one's ever challenged it, because developers are afraid to challenge it, because they want, well, now they don't want to develop, but at one point they wanted to develop here in the city, and that's an illegal exaction. You don't get to shake people down in order to get to negotiate a development agreement. It's a legal term called illegal exactions, and it's outrageous that it's been going on this long. And I wish somebody would sue and stop it. I think the Holy Joe Society, who are they? The Holy Joes? They need to sue. Guys, you have a new lawsuit. Illegal exactions, because they are ruining development.
We got the Quakers and the Holy
That's a
Joes,
really
all
good
kinds
point.
of involvement. It's
I'm
a Reardon
sorry, I'm all
Roundtable
fired
on
up
a
about
Friday.
that.
Hey,
You
you
go,
are fired
Jay.
up today. I love it. We're coming back with more.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we have some Friday volume, and that means westbound 6440 is already lined up, and this is Kings Highway out past McCausland. Then it slows again, and it's Highway N out through the 70 split. Now, 70 westbound looks fine out of downtown. There's some moderate volume between K and Wentzville, and there was a slow pocket just west of Wright City. That's road work. But other than that, it's not bad. So southbound 270, just moderate volume at Ladue Road and at Gravois. Southbound 55 slowing at Bates. And some volume eastbound 55-64 headed for the 70 split. And that is mainly due to road work. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and take $50 off air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hey, Stewie, I need some cash. I need money. Who doesn't need money? What can you do for me?
You know, Annie, this is a question people ask all the time. Now, pay attention, because this is important. Don't get a home equity line of credit. A home equity line of credit is a credit card in your house. It's typically not a fixed rate, so it's an adjustable. You pay interest only. And there's a short-term opportunity to take the money out, and then later on, it turns into a loan that's a really high interest rate. Cash out refinance. That's the most important thing. Refinance your entire mortgage. Get the best rate that's out there. Give yourself the opportunity to refinance later when the rates drop. A cash out refinance is a little bit higher of a rate than a rate and term refinance. Do the cash out now, set yourself up for the future, and get the best deal out there. Just do me one favor. Don't tell my wife about this, because she's going to want all the cash in the world to buy a new car.
Well, if you want to know more, Google the Bagel Loan to find out more information, or call my friend Stewie, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
For veterans Veterans Day, Hanson's Tree Service is taking action. Mark Cox here. Every year, they honor local veterans through Operation SOS, Serving Our Soldiers. It's a once-a-year program to provide free professional tree care to a few deserving veterans or military families. Nominate your hero veteran today at hansonstree.com. Hanson's Tree Service serves our soldiers with the same care and dedication they've shown our country. Go online today to hansonstree.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's a Friday afternoon. That means a roundtable as we take you into the weekend. Jane Duker on the panel this afternoon. Gene Evans and Jeff Rainford as well. Jane, you just sent me, we're talking about downtown and Peabody leaving downtown, which is one of the breaking stories today. But I get the paywall on this thing with the Business Journal, so tell me what I'm looking at here. Downtown St. Louis booster skips hard goals on residents and workers, wants better feel. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. He said aiming for specific data points, like the number of jobs or residents he wants to see in downtown, would be self-limiting. Dude.
Who is this guy?
Well, he's with Greater St. Louis, which is all of the civic groups like Greater Civic Progress, the Chamber, Downtown Partnership all came together. So he's in that.
Yeah.
So, it's now the only regional business group.
So we don't have to worry about more people or anything like that. We just have to sing Kumbaya. Is that what he's saying?
Because he thinks it's just going to explode so astronomically.
Organically?
That numbers, we don't need to look at numbers because we're going to do so much better than numbers.
Okay.
And I'm like, what?
Good luck with that.
Do you live here?
Well, I will say that I have talked to real estate people who, now real estate people think differently than the rest of us, who have said, well, listen, the same for North St. Louis and downtown. At some point, the price of real estate will be so low because it's so terrible that there are going to be people, it's going to be cheap to come in, buy it, rebuild it, redo it.
Yep.
So there is that. I mean,
or we're going to be Detroit and we're going to file for bankruptcy. I mean,
well, that's a separate issue, which is likely anyway because the budget, maybe downtown's part of that. But yes, city government.
Yes, because
in
we
2 to 3
balance the
years
budget on the interest of federal money in the city of St. Louis. That is not a long-term budget solution.
Well, I think the county's going to beat them to it, but yes.
Yes, the county is at $81 million in the hole.
Whoa.
Let's shift to some national politics. Gene, I'm going to start with you. The shutdown continues. It doesn't look like there's going to be a resolution as we head into the weekend. The Republicans obviously have voted numerous times, 14, 15 times in the Senate to reopen the government. The Democrats have thwarted that. Here's what I'm hearing from Capitol Hill this afternoon. Lisa Desjardins, who is a friend for the subsidized or the soon-to-be non-subsidized folks at NPR. I do like Lisa. She's a good reporter. And she said what the Senate Democrats are asking for is a 3-bill appropriations bill, a minibus, not an omnibus, but a minibus. I don't really know if I understand that completely. A 1-year extension of ACA subsidies as they are now. They expire in December. A committee to be set up to figure out long-term ACA healthcare solutions. Now, what I've heard from John Thune and Mike Johnson is they're absolutely willing to have those discussions on those topics, but not until you vote to open the government. Right. The Democrats are trying to do this backwards. I think they think they have more political capital than they did a week ago because of the election.
Yeah.
But now people are really getting hurt.
Yeah, they are, and the air travel. I think if the air travel starts impacting some of those elected officials, that's when you might see some movement. Because I don't think, I mean, I had a speaking engagement the other day. There were probably 60 people there. I said, raise your hand if the shutdown has impacted you, and no one raised their hand. So a lot of people aren't feeling it. They're hearing about it. They're hearing about food stamps and things like that. But I know people who have a lot of money that are getting these subsidies, and, I don't think it's right. And so I don't really think that I should be subsidizing. I mean, one of the things the Republicans need to do a better job of is messaging that this money is going to boost up insurance companies, right? Like, that is where the money is going. That was what the whole ACA was supposed to, level the playing field. The insurance companies are making too much money. But instead, what they do is they have these huge premiums. The money goes to the insurance companies. And then people who have assets, especially that early retire. I know a lot of people who've done early retirement. They're getting these huge subsidies to get this insurance. And I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I don't get a subsidy. I don't want one.
We were talking about this before. Senator Amy Klobuchar, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, put this tweet out of this couple. They're 52 years old. They retired early. God bless them. I wish I could have, right? But they're going to have $15,000 more that they'll be on the hook for the, for Obamacare without the subsidies. Okay. I'm fine with. Why should we be sending you $15,000?
Medicare.
Right.
Not everybody who paid into Medicare paid back exactly
Not
what they're
at
getting
52.
back.
But they're 65.
I understand that, but it is still. I mean, people like me paid more in. I won't get my full share. Some people didn't pay enough in. It's a transfer program. I will say this. I think that if Republicans think keeping the government shut down is really good for them, then they should follow their president, who is like, I am not going to compromise under any circumstances.
I hope they do.
They're not. They're voting to open it. It's the Democrats who are voting against
well
it.
for you, then keep doing
no,
it.
wait. Hang on. Let's focus on this. If that's going well for you, if every freaking Democrat in the Senate, except for John Fetterman, votes to not open the government, and every freaking Republican, except for Rand Paul, votes to open the government, how do the Republicans do more to open the government? What will we do?
President sends out the wrong signals when he is actually trying to fight paying SNAP benefits. When he says, I'm going to use this shutdown to punish Democrat
Oh, my
causes.
God. Have you heard Chuck Schumer, Rainford? Give me a break. And
So
by the
tell
way,
me- then you tell me- hold
I'm
on.
at the point. I don't
Then
care.
you tell me-
Keep it shut down as long as you have to. I don't care.
Then you tell me what caused the and again, it's a small sample size. I personally believe it's what's going to happen in the midterms. But what happened last Tuesday if Republicans are doing so great and they're
let's talk
messaging
about
on
it.
the
All right,
shutdown?
let's talk about what happened on last Tuesday. We had deep blue states that elected Democrats.
Georgia?
Oh, my God, that's crazy.
Like Georgia?
Georgia. You pick up a couple of districts in Georgia from whatever.
Where was it anything other than overperformance for Democrats versus the last election? Name a place where there wasn't overperformance.
You had a great night on Tuesday night in blue states. Why is that such a big deal? Now, I'll admit that the margins were somewhat of a concern, but what happened last Tuesday night aren't going to have any. It's not going to have no bearing on what happens a year from now in the midterms at all.
I hope Republicans continue to believe that.
Well,
that would be
I do
good.
think, we know for sure
There's a risk
that Democrats have more reliable voters. So in off-term elections, when there's not a presidential or whatever,
They are.
far more reliable Democrats, especially women, young women who tend to vote.
That's who swung all these.
That's exactly. But I will say, I think there's two things going on. I do think the Republicans need to identify who their party is. Right now, Democrats are running against Trump, and they have a reliable group of voters,
working.
And it's working.
Why do you say it's working, though?
It's
In
working.
what way?
Because
But
the
in what-
renters,
wait,
the
wait, wait,
renters
in
are
what
not
way is it
coming.
working?
So
the
in every-
renters are not coming to the midterms.
In every county, the margins were more. In every election, there were more blue than there were last time this year. So there was a movement this time. We expect that. I mean, I work on elections. I know in the midterms that I'm up against it because of the voters. Now, I will say the silver lining of this, and this is going to be everybody who's working in a general election against a Democrat is going to have a picture of Mondami and the communist next to holding hands with whoever the Democrat is in that district. And they're going to ask them to denounce that, or whoever it is, they're going to ask them to denounce it and say this is the face of the party. And I do think that is a problem for the Democrats, but I think the Republicans have a problem because if Trump's not on the ballot, they can't get people to show up.
Big.
That
And that's
is
why
a
I
big
call them
problem.
renters.
And independents are turning against him, too.
Well, and just wait till you start cutting flights. I mean, I do think the flight thing is going to be a big deal. I do think that cutting
But
10%
whatever
of flights,
happens
that's
this
the
month, Jane, is
FAA.
not going to matter a year from now.
it's gonna
just
change
not.
in a
No,
year.
but
Okay?
what's going to matter is if the president doesn't change, which nobody expects him to do. If he keeps doing what he did the
Like
first
peace in
year,
the Middle
and he
East?
does it the next year, nothing changes on the Republican side.
I know.
Even the
I hate-
boneheaded
I-
Democrats,
I
and I'm
hate
calling them
the-
boneheads, will sweep.
Let me
the night.
agree with you, Rainford. I hate looking at my 401k these days. I mean, it's just getting killed as I return 20% this year. I hate the fact
and I
that
hope
no
that's the
one's coming over the
Republican
border.
messaging.
I just
Don't
want to
believe
point
your
out
eyes.
for
Don't believe your eyes in what? The economy? You guys were predicting recession by this point this year. There's no economist who's
I
saying
are
right
you
now that's
going-
even talking about a
Are
recession.
people going to vote against their own 401ks? It's the economy, stupid.
That's
People are
why
going to look
Lots
at
of
their
people don't have
401ks.
401ks. It's
Well, that too.
inflation. It's cost of living.
Right. But you know as well as I
Tell
do.
them, that's what Biden. That was a mistake he made. Don't believe what you see when you go to the grocery store. Trump's making the same mistake.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree with the messaging part of it, but I also think that both parties got to figure out what their message is because
Both parties kind of suck right now.
well, because the Democrats' message is anti-Trump, and that really resonates
no
with a
vision.
group of people. And the Republican message has been this America first, but they haven't been communicating well. I do want to point out, though, that for a portion of this shutdown, the president was in the Middle East getting hostages back and was not over here meddling or taking a point in that. And I don't think that the Republicans have done a good enough job of talking about that. Now, people don't care as much about foreign affairs as they do their local things. But if you talk about a guy who, it hasn't even been a full year, has negotiated peace treaties all over the world, including getting those hostages back, and that is a really big deal.
Absolutely.
But then he walks on his own headlines by doing 10 stupid
Right.
things after that instead of letting it sink in.
And we elect
people have already
communists.
forgotten about it.
So,
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
that's fair.
that I don't understand. We'll come back. We'll talk about Mamdani and the effects of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to overestimate what that might mean for Republicans either. We're coming back. It's a Reardon Roundtable on a Friday.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Westbound 70 out of downtown looks pretty good. Some moderate volume at Jennings Station Road. Eastbound, some moderate volume at 270. Then westbound, slow pockets from K out through Wentzville. We've got westbound 40. It's mainly moderate volume right now, but it's Kings Highway in pockets on out. It gets heavy from Winghaven out through the 70 split. Eastbound 40 slow at Big Bend. Southbound 270. Moderate volume in pockets, and that's from Olive down through Gravois. Now, I'm seeing a jam. There's an accident reported northbound on Clarkson, south of Baxter Road. Some real slow-moving traffic there. 55 slowing at Bates, and there's a jam headed into Illinois coming off the Poplar Street Bridge due to road work. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
3:34. This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
From the gateway city to the front lines of freedom. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
The Reardon Roundtable on a Friday afternoon. Sue will have a Friday edition of Sue's News coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk some entertainment with Paul Hall and Cusumano, a preview of the Mizzou game tomorrow. On the panel this afternoon, Jane Duker, Jeff Rainford, Gene Evans. Jeff, I'll start with you on this one. Who is, after Tuesday, who is the leader of the Democrat Party? What would your answer be there?
So, nobody. And in fact, Carville and other people have admitted that and have said in the midterms we don't need to have anybody just run against Trump and the big beautiful
Well, they're probably
bill.
right about that.
But I think where the Democrats are finally headed is at least most of the national people understand that we have to be what, for a want of a better term, is a big tent party, which means if you're running a candidate in Boise, Idaho, it can't be like the person in San Francisco, California, that we are going to have moderates in West Virginia and other places if we're going to have a chance on a national scale. And that part of it is easy because, you just run local candidates, and when they say, well, you're like Mendami, people will know them because they're local and they know the local issues, and that won't work. I don't know how they all come together, however, when you have to pick one national candidate. I have no idea how that's going to work for the next presidential election. But I think for gubernatorial elections, U.S. Senate elections, and congressional elections, I think we are finally at the point where you don't have to pass the nitwit litmus test that you have to agree that transgender men can play in sports. I think that's behind us, and I think you saw that in a couple of the elections the other day.
Well, I think, Nicole Galloway ran for governor here a few years ago, and she is not a left-wing progressive, even though...
Well, we're red. We're red here.
I called her that every day, but she couldn't self-fund. So in order to raise the kind of money that you need to raise to win a statewide election, you have to appeal to those base donors. And the donors on the Democratic side they're Soros-type donors. They're very, very progressive. That's where the money is. If you can find people who maybe have some business connections, like Bashir in Kentucky, who can, raise money. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons they looked at Nixon here to run again, which he's not going to do. But
he couldn't get out of a primary.
I wish he would. That would be such a gift to someone like me.
But he can raise his own money. Like, he doesn't need to rely on progressive donors. I mean, Galloway said a lot of things that I don't think she even believes when she was running, because she needed to raise the money, and therefore she could not win because she was tagged with all of that. Now, it is a red state, but even like right now, I just saw polling in Michigan, and Mike Rogers is way ahead of any Democrat that's trying to run there. A long ways away.
Both parties have primaries that get your primary. For U.S. Senate that Eric Schmidt won was a mess, right? Both parties.
But sanity. Wait. Sanity prevailed
No, but both parties are going to have messes in the primaries. That's you can't get past that. But I do think that whereas Manchin basically got run out of the party, I think that
and they're going to probably go
I
after
think that's
Fetterman.
changing, and they're going to start. They may again. You're going to have primaries like you've had primaries. They're going to be very out in St. Charles County. The county executive is a perfectly normal guy. He's got a right wing guy running against him. We'll have the same thing, but I do think nationally, I'm hoping anyway, that we end up understanding that we need to do a few things. One is get rid of get away from the stupid social issues. Number two is stop looking down at middle class and working class people. And number three is to accept in districts where we have to be moderate candidates.
But we have to have a vision.
But here let me offer someone, because I've been talking a little bit about Rahm Emanuel, because I hear him. He's trying to ramp up something, and he wants to be more of a common sense candidate. But I don't know how you say that the trans stuff is behind you. I don't see that, because I don't think you can run in a primary, in a U.S. Senate primary, a congressional race, or for president, and not take a stand that the progressives like, which is if you say you're a woman, even if you have a penis, you're a woman. I mean, that still plays with AOC, with Mamdani, when all these people.
But I think enough, I'm hoping, and I also see a lot of evidence of it. Yeah. I mean, I see it in the fact that Cori Bush is not a member of Congress. I see it in the fact that we have a different prosecutor. The prosecutor in San Francisco is out. I mean, I'm seeing these individual cases where Democrats, including progressives, but certainly including moderates, so dislike the direction that the Republicans are taking it that they're willing to swallow and say, hey, do we want to be like in second place in a two-car race? Do we want to be in second place forever?
I do think in Missouri we've had some more common sense, middle-of-the-road candidates prevail here on both sides of the aisle. I mean, Mike Kehoe, I've known a long time. He's very conservative, and he got pegged as like the lefty in the primary, but he won, and he's governed in some ways. Some of the Democrats are disappointed because he's not as moderate as maybe they hoped he was. But to me, he's exactly who I've always known him to be. He's very conservative. But Kara winning, and I think Kara moderated a little bit. I think Kara Spencer was a little more progressive when she ran before.
I agree.
So we have had some luck here. We'll see what happens out in St. Charles County. Obviously, Steve Ellman is big name ID, but so does Bill Eigel.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to watch.
Right.
Obviously, we talked about, I had Steve in more than a week ago. He was not going to get in that race. Mike Elam, who you often hear here on 97.1 FM Talk, who's a St. Charles County councilman, was going to run. Bill Eigel made a lot of noise. Steve does not want Bill to be St. Charles County executive. He won't exactly phrase it that way, but that's what this is about.
So both parties have
could
that.
Be, well, yeah.
Yes, they do. Well, I want to say one thing about the St. Charles that I think is worth mentioning. One of the problems they've had in St. Charles is because the senators did not get along well with whoever was governing, whether it was Parson or Kehoe, particularly Parson, or with the chairman of APROPS, St. Charles County got left out of a lot of money. And so Steve Ellman is worried that could happen again if Bill Eigel becomes... Now, it's not as much personality things, but he saw the spigot got cut off for St. Charles because of the problems between Eigel and some other folks.
What happened in the Senate matters.
It does matter.
People, look, he can say all he wants. This is a different role. But all people remember, and we talked about this with Mike Elam, is that, for 2 years, the Senate was completely non-functional and St. Charles got X'd out.
St. Charles got no money. And I have a great relationship with Bill. I like him. I think he's very smart. But that is what is flashing in Ellman's mind, in my opinion.
Sure, I think it is. Let me just ask one more question. I want to get to some stuff with Purvis Jones' girlfriend. We'll get to that in the next segment. Oh. But on the one thing that I'm still baffled by, and I don't know if Jane or Jeff can illuminate on this issue. I get how some of these candidates, and Winsome Sears was not as strong as Glenn Youngkin, and they won convincingly. But the Jay Jones thing, when you have text message exchanges that were real and that were pretty violent and vile and repulsive, that people could overlook that and vote for that guy in Virginia is really stunning to me.
They were sick. This isn't just like he said something. Even he said something violent.
It was disqualifying.
It was.
Completely
it wasn't like put a target
disqualifying.
on their back that can be interpreted a lot of different ways. He said he wanted watch her children die. Like, that's demented. I don't know how you can vote for him.
People in your party in Virginia, they hate Trump more than they do stuff like that.
Well, what about who is your football player candidate who was a disaster? I mean, you guys overlooked a ton.
Down in Georgia, Herschel
Yeah,
Walker?
Herschel
He
Walker.
wasn't trying to kill people.
But
Yeah, I'm
Well,
not
what
talking
were
this
the people
has
that-
nothing to do with quality of candidate. This has something to do with threatening sex messages that were exposed.
Fine. I mean, look,
Jane,
they've all said
how could you
there
put
are
that on
lots
the
of
same
people,
plane?
No, I'm not saying it's the same plane, but there are a lot of people with disqualifying things. Nothing seems to be disqualifying anymore.
That's true.
And that is in large part because of our president. So we need to kind of get off of that because that ship sailed.
Well, or we can try to get back on it by each part.
Exactly,
But
100%.
that means a guy like me, I have to say, I wouldn't have voted for the guy, so it's outrageous. But I also have to say there are things that the president has been doing and saying that are outrageous, too, that I don't hear Republicans saying anything about. The coarseness of our civilization, of our civility to each other as people who disagree, it's just gone. And we can always say, oh, the other side, you Republicans, you're the ones who should stop doing it. Why don't we, like, what did Pogo say? Let's look in the mirror. We see the enemy, and the enemy is us. Well, let's all, each of us, each party start
That's fine,
trying to get back to where we need to be.
My
instead of
side
pointing
and Gene's
fingers.
side, they're not going to college campuses and turning over tables for Turning Point USA. They're not lighting cities
No,
on fire.
they're trying to burn
They're
the
not-
Capitol down.
No, well, okay.
That was
one horrific
time.
day that's
Okay,
terrible
one
that we have.
I know, but
Our
you're talking about
national capital.
a repeated behavior.
Those
that's
people
happening
still are
all
Trumpsters.
the
Those
time.
people are still part
There are
of
And they got
your
pardoned.
party.
It's
got
interesting
pardoned.
as we're having this conversation. They're showing Mangione on the Luigi, the guy who's become like a cult-like following, the guy who murdered a father in
Those
cold
are
blood.
not Democrats. Those are lunatics.
Well,
Those lunatics just
They all
elected
vote for
Mamdani
Democrats.
in
Well,
New York
I'm
City.
sorry that
So,
they get to
so when are we going to hear the president
I don't like Mondani.
start to disavow the members of your party that are starting to noodle around that Hitler wasn't so bad and the Nazis aren't so bad?
Well,
when
let me
are we gonna start
address
hearing them
that.
talk of them all?
Let me address that because that is outrageous, and
is.
everyone should be. Look, Ted Cruz is criticizing people right now for not distancing themselves from Tucker Carlson and this Nick Fuentes guy. It's ridiculous,
It is.
and I'll take a stand
Thank
right
you.
now and say we should not be playing footsie with any of that. And Kevin Roberts at Heritage, who apologized, I'm sorry, it wasn't enough. It was not enough because he stood by some of
for
that.
you.
So I'm going to say right now, that's nonsense. What Tucker Carlson has become is disgusting, and I don't know what happened to him because I used to
Is it
defend him
money?
on some things.
Like, why does he go
I don't know.
all- I mean, what is the deal? Like, that's not even human.
It's not. And it should be. The
But-
president should say something. J.D. Vance should say something. People need to distance themselves
But
from that
would
crap.
you say something as president when you just saw Democrats vote for a guy who was fantasizing about children dying?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
That's what I'm
we
saying.
Should all.
yeah, but
Isn't that the
Oh,
point?
what
I
we're
would-
both doing is pointing fingers and saying
Yeah.
you should be civil first and then I'll be civil. Well,
No.
we ought to be looking at ourselves, and I agree with you. I wouldn't have voted for the guy. Now, I don't know enough about the race to go into it in
And
much
Mondani
detail.
is a
but I wouldn't
joke.
have, and
He's not a
yeah,
Democrat.
And I could not have been more vociferous in my opposition to our circuit attorney and to our mayor.
That's very
I mean,
true.
And our Congress.
and our member of
Absolutely.
Congress.
Look, I defend you guys for that, but
yes.
we're talking about different side of your party in
Well,
many of these
that's our
But they're
situations.
local. I'm
not-
not in
but they're-
Virginia.
Yeah, no, I get
These
it.
people are avowed socialist and Democrat. Okay, Bernie Sanders, newsflash, he is not a Democrat.
I know.
Never has been. Okay, so I mean, what I don't appreciate is when our national party doesn't shut this down. I get that we want to be inclusive, but when you're including people who are destroying your party, then you have to
Gotta
live
do
with the
something about it.
consequences.
Hang tight. We got to get one more break in. We're coming back with one more segment of the Reardon Roundtable.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There is an accident reported eastbound 6440 past Hanley, and there is a jam behind it, and that's created some slow-moving traffic on southbound 170. It goes back near Olive. Westbound 70, a little slow at Jennings Station Road, past the airport, and then in pockets on out through the 70 split. 64 is more like Kings Highway than in pockets. And that goes out, and it looks like it's to Highway N, and then it really jams up between there and 70, especially with the lane closures there. Southbound 270, moderate volume, but it's Olive in pockets down through Gravois. 55, a little bit slow, just south of the Antonia area in Barnhart, just south of M. Some moderate volume there. But further north, it's jamming at Bates, and we've got a jam on eastbound Poplar Street Bridge through about 70. That is all due to road work. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. You can't find better quality, prices, or service. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Let's support our first responders. Inter Responder Rescue's ATF raffle. Prizes include top shelf bourbon, a lit cigar lounge VIP night, and a CZ P10 pistol from the range. Text responder to 33100 to enter today.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. As we get colder weather moving into St. Louis and into Missouri, you don't want the power knocked out. Let's be honest. You don't want the power knocked out at any time. But think about it like when it's really hot over the summer or when it's really cold. That's the last time you want the power to go out. I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. These are high-quality generators. You never have to worry. Even if you're away from home, the Generac generator will kick right in. So whether it's a long outage, severe storms, ice storms here in the Midwest, downlines, it doesn't matter. Don't depend on the utilities. Put yourself into a position where you get peace of mind with a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter of St. Louis, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. Call 314-499-2020. Financing is available. Call for a free estimate today or visit GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Hey, this is Ryan Wiggins. You know I love great deals, and when I find one, I'm going to pass it along. How about 75% off of snacks, chips, and especially Little Debbie products? It's its second generation distribution in Roxana. I go there all the time. Plus, you can search through while you're there. Their nice selection of toys, electronics, home goods, apparel, all discounted. You're going to love this store Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 301 South Old Edwardsville Road in Roxana, Illinois, or visit them online to see the full inventory. Type in Little Debbie Store Roxana.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Fast-paced, fact-based, and never boring. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
By the way, the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, Missouri Congressman Jason Smith, is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. His latest on the shutdown. We have Jane Duker, Gene Evans, Jeff Rainford, all on the panel. Jane, I can't wait for this. This is going to be my favorite topic. It has been of the week. Let's talk about former Mayor Tashara Jones' father, Virus, as you call him, and his girlfriend, Corey Elliott, and everything that went down with her. Explain this to the listeners who might not be on top of this little juicy nugget from the past week.
Well, she was indicted and pled
Corey
guilty.
Elliott.
Corey Elliott is her name, and she was Burvis' Jones' girlfriend. I mean, I think there's some dispute as to when, they
when love was
dating.
actually in the air.
When love was actually in the air,
right?
It wasn't. So she's got nailed for $1.7 million of PPP loan fraud. That's a real amount of money. I mean, she outdid John Deal, and we don't have all the details as to like how she defrauded. Did she defraud in the application? Did she in fact spend it on personal expenses? Did she, so
some of
we
those
don't
details
know
are
all
missing
that
so
yet,
far.
which is interesting because when Deal was, he pled and they were very public about everything that he did. So I thought that was interesting.
You mean your former prom date, just to be clear?
Yes, I went to his prom. Yes, you can.
I always have to bring that up.
And I have a picture.
Yes,
these stories about how they used PPP money for other things. And it one of the things that Corey supposedly used her money for was she sent $200,000 to her investment account. I'm like, well, money is fungible. So how do they know it was PPP money and not some other
when you
money?
pull records, it gets real clear, I think.
Okay.
And there was something about her giving money to the unions. Okay, so what does that
I did
mean?
see that. That was
and
interesting.
what context?
Well,
so there's
okay,
not a lot of detail there.
Let's speak plainly here. We all kind of think that in both situations, these are people who are pleading guilty to maybe give information and flip and get better deals, right?
Well, it sort of looked like when her case is not up on the court's website.
How do you interpret that then? What do you mean by that?
I interpret that they're not publicizing anything about really any details about her situation.
Well, that and what she's going to get depends on how helpful she is in the case against somebody else.
Also, Hal Goldsmith, his job is to prosecute public officials and go after public corruption. So why is he prosecuting PPP loans unless they're somehow related to public corruption?
Or it started as an investigation. Look, let's face it. Doing a PPP investigation is probably a lot easier than doing corruption because, the money's the money. It's pretty easy you just follow the money.
It was pretty easy to
Well,
get that money.
there's two things. One is since the end of the Jones administration, there have been quite a few federal grand jury subpoenas issued in City Hall.
Yes.
I did not, because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, ask what they were for, but there have been quite a few. And number two, I want to remind everybody that I think it was last spring when the Board of Aldermen was debating the Rams money, Hal purposefully went and sat in the gallery, and he was making a point. So, and no real shoes have fallen since then. So I listen, I don't know firsthand, but I think there's something going on.
And look, and like all the stuff, first of all, we remember when a developer went to the feds and said that he was basically, shaken down by Corey Elliott. If you want access to the mayor's office, you got to pay me a retainer. And, so the discussion of this, it could start one place, end up in another
It'll
place.
be very curious to see where it
Yes.
goes. Jeff Rainford, we have 45 seconds. Big game tomorrow. We're going to Columbia, Missouri. Texas A&M. You got a cousin that's coming in. He's a big Texas A&M guy. I'm worried because, look, Texas A&M is one of the best teams flat out in the country. We got a new quarterback that looked pretty good against Vanderbilt. I think all bets are off. I'm going to expect a probably significant loss by Mizzou, but I'll be happy if they can surprise us, Jeff.
Yep. Here's what I like about it. Tomorrow is do or die for Missouri. There is no lose by 1 or 2 points or have the ball at the goal line at the end. If they lose, they're out. If, on the other hand, they upset, a top 4 team, if they were to run the table, they could get in. So it's a do or die game, which means the stakes couldn't be higher for Mizzou. And Texas A&M could stand one loss, but I don't think this is the loss they want. Both teams had a bye week. I think they're both going to
it's gonna
play
be
as hard as they can.
It should be fun. I just hope that as we go down there, the game's at 2:30, that we're not heading back by 3:30, because I've had that happen at Mizzou games before.
No, don't say
Jane, great to see you. You have a great weekend. Gene Evans, thanks for coming in. Oh, yeah, Jane, you're coming. I forget.
Still here.
You're hanging with us. See, this is how my brain's working on a Friday. Gene, good to see you.
You too.
And Jeff, I'll see you in the morning.
MIZ.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this afternoon, we've got plenty of volume if you're headed into Illinois. Eastbound traffic just jammed, headed for 70, all due to road work. Westbound 64 lines up Hampton out through McCausland, but that looks like it may be closer to Kings Highway. Eastbound is jammed where there was an earlier accident past Hanley. Then some slow pockets all the way out west. Heaviest traffic there happens to be from Highway N out through the 70 split. Now, 70 is better. It's got lighter traffic, but it too has slow pockets headed out. Southbound 170 jams approaching 64. Southbound 270, moderate volume, but it's pockets from Olive down through Gravois. Northbound is slow at Ladue Road. At 55 is slowing not only at Bates, but a little bit south of Highway M as well. So if you're headed south, bear that in mind. This report brought to you by Aspen Contracting, roofsbyaspen.com. Is your siding dragging down your home's curb appeal? Aspen Contracting can transform your house with new siding that's fast, efficient, and built to last. Call Aspen today for your free siding inspection, 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'll be at the Missouri Athletic Club West tomorrow for Monday. I had to reschedule a match. We're trying to catch up here in the league. I played yesterday, actually won. I don't know what's going on, Sue. I'm actually winning right now, which is a little unusual.
What?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
It's throwing me off completely. They're always doing great, fun things at both the downtown location and the West location, which is at 270 in Manchester. Yesterday, downtown, they had a great Veterans Day commemoration. This is pretty cool, and this was just put on my radar. So Thursday, January 15th, that might seem like it's a long way away. Because of the holidays, we're almost here. Veterans Day next week, Thanksgiving, Christmas. But Thursday, the 15th of January, downtown, they're doing an anniversary celebration for the 2011 Cardinals World Series team. And that's going to be a blast. Registration is now open. If you're interested in attending that night, get on it because it's no doubt going to sell out. You can find out more at mac-stl.org for the Missouri Athletic Club.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $139 and take $50 off air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Some air travelers have a message for lawmakers. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
If I could vote every single legislator out on both parties and start with some people that are boringly neutral, I would do it.
This as disruptions spread on the first day of flight reductions ordered by the FAA at major airports to help ease the staffing issues with air traffic controllers.
I'm incredibly concerned. I don't feel safe flying at all.
The cuts are being made with safety in mind. Nationwide, more than 900 flights canceled today, more than 3,000 delayed. But the capacity reductions are being phased in, peaking at 10% next Friday. On day 38 of the government shutdown,
Democrats are ready to clear the way to quickly pass a government funding bill that includes health care affordability.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer proposing a one-year extension of Obamacare subsidies as part of a short-term spending bill to reopen government. He says a bipartisan committee could then work on longer-term solutions, and it would avoid negotiating during the shutdown, which Republicans oppose. But Republicans say it's still Democrats holding Americans hostage. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham telling reporters,
I'm not going to keep giving taxpayer dollars to the 5 largest health care insurance companies under Obamacare to get the government open.
This as a proposal from Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson to pay federal workers was blocked for the second time. The Senate Republican leader working on a new interim spending bill with a possible promise for a future vote on Obamacare subsidies, but it would still need 60 votes to advance. After wins this week for Democratic candidates focused on affordability, the president again defending his economic agenda.
Prices are down
under the Trump administration, and they're down substantially.
But he's now accusing some meatpacking companies, those with majority foreign ownership, of driving up the price of beef, asking the Justice Department to investigate. America is listening to Fox News.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Our bouncing temperatures continue, but we are about to bounce into the deep freeze, though certainly not this afternoon. 71, partly sunny and windy. Tonight, clear skies, 45 for the overnight low. Saturday, partly sunny, couple of spot showers, windy, 65. Saturday night, a couple of snow flurries and 35. Sunday, sunny, just plain cold on Sunday and breezy, 42. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh my goodness, is it not beautiful out there today? Who got out and enjoyed the weather? You know what, I did too. I got out. I feel like this is like the last day of warm weather, right?
It could be.
Yeah, it's going to get a little nasty into this weekend, and that's unfortunate. But we've had a great October, really, really nice beginning of November as well. I still think, I'm going deer hunting a week from today, and typically there are more leaves off the trees, I think, at this time.
They've started falling in my neighborhood.
Well, they're falling, but I mean, because we had such a warm October, I think
it'll be later. Yeah.
I'll have an added.
We need a foliage report.
Well, I have an added excuse for not hitting a deer and getting a deer next weekend. That's what I'll tell you. I hit some golf balls today. It felt pretty good to do that. A week ago, I had to turn down, and I just wimped out an invitation to play Belle Reeve Country Club with my friend Jeff Drew, known as the King. He's kind of an embarrassment to Belle Reeve sometimes. I'm going to find out a little bit more here about Jeff with Ed Glotzbach, who is the tournament director for Belle Reeve Country Club. You still let that Jeff Drew guy hang out at Belle Reeve, Ed?
We still have that what, Mark?
Do you still have that guy, Jeff Drew? Is he still allowed to hang out at Belle Reeve Country Club? Or have you banned
we got
him?
a pretty close monitor on him when he comes, but yeah, he's allowed to hang out.
Well, listen, the reason I want to have you on is I'm very excited. The BMW Championship, I did my show the whole week out there when the PGA Championship was there, and then they changed the dates. That's in the spring now. But the BMW Championship is coming to Belle Reeve next August. It's going to be very exciting. You put out a call for volunteer positions, and you filled them, Ed, almost automatically and instantly, didn't you?
We did. We actually started a week ago Wednesday in the morning and put the call out for volunteers. We asked for 2,100 volunteers, and really by Friday evening, 3 days later, those volunteer slots were full, and they were filled by volunteers from 31 different states, and 1,500 of the folks that volunteered came from the state of Missouri. So we were just delighted. That doesn't happen everywhere, but it sure speaks a lot about the people of St. Louis and Missouri.
And you're talking about people who will be, some folks inside the ropes, marking balls, et cetera, some folks outside the ropes. A lot of people doing a lot of different things during this tournament. These are big. I've said this for years, Ed. You know this. The PGA puts on amazing events.
They do put on amazing events, and part of the reason for that is that, which is, not the more exciting part perhaps, is there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes on, to do everything from making sure there's, places to park, that the experience is great for the spectators, that the course itself is ready, that the PGA Tour understands a lot about the course. And so it's But then at the end of the day, just like in 2018 and what I know will be the case in 2026, it turns out to be a great event. Not the least of which is the people of St. Louis come out and they're respectful and polite and enthusiastic, and the players love to come back.
Yeah,
that
that's
is
awesome.
so true. You remember Tiger actually tweeted about that. Well, the last time he was here for whatever, he's like, St. Louis fans were fantastic. So I love that that's the case.
Yeah, that's all. Well, we didn't see the best example of that at the Ryder Cup, which is why that's important. So, Ed, one of the things, there is like a waiting list for volunteers that I know that people can still apply for. But then beyond that, one of the things that this kind of signals is that there's going to be extreme interest in tickets for this event. So tell me ticket availability and when that becomes something people can take advantage of.
So people can actually sign up today on bmwchampionship.com and express priority interest in tickets. And then on November the 20th, they'll be the first ones to get an email and a piece of paper that says, okay, tickets are available for sale. So they actually can start purchasing on November the 20th, but they can express an interest in being an early signer today by going on bmwchampionship.com and just hitting the link for interested in tickets.
I can't believe that the PGA was in 2018, that long ago already. That just seems mind-boggling. I mean, the pandemic sort of clouds all of this, but it just doesn't seem like it was that long ago, Ed.
No, it doesn't. And but one of the things that, happily I think happened is still, people around town talk about the PGA Championship in 2018. They talk. It's not uncommon to see some hat or quarter zip that somebody's wearing that has the championship emblem on it. So it's the kind of thing that the story goes on. I think a part of that was just the fierce battle between Brooks Koepka and Tiger Woods.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then when Tiger was finished and walked up over that player bridge and stopped and acknowledged the crowd, I'll bet you I've seen 20 pictures of that from different people.
It's amazing. You
So
know, and
cool.
we have a guy who works here at Odyssey. He is, you probably know his voice. His name is Dave King. He's on a lot of the imaging for our sister station, KMOX. And he was the guy on 17 that essentially had to find Tiger's ball when he hit it to the right of the creek. And at first he didn't see it. And there's the guys on CBS are like, well, I wish that guy might point to where the ball is. And then they finally found it. But that was that defining, shank, if you will, made certainly the eagle, took the eagle out of the way on that par 5. But that might have cost Tiger the tournament, that shank right there. But, Ed, thanks for all the information. This is great. I'm excited. I can't wait for this tournament. I love the event. I'm hoping that I can do the show out there like I did the PGA Championship. And you keep a close eye on that Jeff Drew guy because I don't trust him at all.
Well, we'd love to have you out there doing the show, and don't worry, we always keep a close eye on Jeff Drew.
Thank you, Ed. We'll talk soon. Keep us posted,
Thank you
okay?
for the time. Take care.
I felt so guilty because, Jane, you came out at the PGA, didn't you?
We had so much fun. And didn't we get a big rain?
Yes. So what happened was that Friday we were doing the roundtable, and then there was a pause in play because of rain. So we were doing the show, Sue, right on the range for where the players would, the practice range. And so I go out there, it's pouring rain. And what they do at professional golf tournaments, like I hit balls at Family Golf today, and these aren't real balls, right? They don't carry the same way.
They're junk.
But when you're at the range, you pick your ball that you're going to hit, and it has the GPS in it or whatever the hell they call it, so they can monitor it and they can see all that. So I'm right on the range, and Fred, I don't know if you were there with me, and I kind of wander out there, and these are like cool balls, right? So I start picking a few of them up, and I'm putting them in my pocket.
This is why we don't get invited anywhere.
Yes,
So,
this is exactly
why we cannot
somebody-
have nice things.
Somebody finally yelled. I think someone yelled. I wasn't even sure. I was kind of trying to act like I wasn't really doing it, and I was. But then I felt so bad because you know what they told me? What they do with those balls?
That you're stealing?
They give them to kids and stuff like that. Like they donate those balls
you
to
qualify.
youth organizations.
That's
That's not bad, Jane. I do. But I did. Maybe I had a dozen. They were then
So
lost.
did
they were
like
lost.
Did some beeper go off and you're like, uh-oh,
No,
I'm
no,
busted?
I mean, it was
You're on
pouring
somebody's
rain.
iPhone.
It was pouring rain, and I just walk out there acting like I'm doing, looking around.
And they
then
weren't
I picked up
suspicious
a
at
few.
all.
Well, there were only 2 people on the downrange because it was
20
pouring
cameras.
rain. Well, there might have been some cameras out there. Hey, look, I didn't get arrested. There's no warrant that I'm, but I wouldn't do it again because I didn't realize they donated those things to like kids and stuff like that.
But we had so much fun that Friday.
It
We
was
really
fun.
did.
It was a lot of fun. And you remember that the size of that, and I'm guessing it'll be similar for the BMW, the size of the PGA store just in and of itself.
That's why I said merchandise.
That's what I heard.
It was incredible.
It was incredible.
But in order to give them your hundreds of dollars, I mean, it's not cheap merch.
Oh, no.
You had to wait in line for 40 minutes. So, of course, we didn't have a break long enough. And so I had to go after
we got
to
get
merch.
Because I'm going to get credit. Sue, you've been in locations where the media has been treated specially.
Yes.
They had, in the media room for the PGA Championship, they had a little area for massages. For the media, not for the players. They had a massage area for the media. I'm not kidding.
Oh, they
that
did.
We were also
And the
able to
media
pick
tent
out.
was
We were able to pick out anything in the PGA store that we wanted, like one shirt that we wanted. And
No way.
Yeah, it was like unbelievable. They
And
treat
the food.
people
The
so the
food.
food was amazing.
I went for the food. Of
Yeah.
course. I know that
Smart.
shocks
A
you.
lot of fun.
Smart.
So anyway, put the target date for the BMW Championship. Sue has Sue's News on a Friday coming up.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Traffic is really jammed. Highway 100 at M, and that's in both directions. The other serious jam we have is eastbound coming off the Poplar Street Bridge through 70. That's due to road work and lane closures. 44 westbound slowing in front of the Arch grounds. 6440 is lined up. This is Kings Highway. In pockets all the way out through 70. It's heavy again from Highway N out through 70. Now, 70 westbound out of downtown. It's mainly moderate volume and moderate volume in pockets out through Wentzville. Eastbound a little slow as you head toward Wentzville. All of this is road work. And southbound 270, slow pockets there approaching Olive. It stretches down through Gravois. 55 is slowing at your friend Bates. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I just think it's a good Mark Reardon Show drinking game. As soon as Sue says things are jamming up at 55 and Bates, do a shot.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Stop just trying to paint and patch up the outside of your home. It's time to give it a permanent upgrade with James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding from Lakeside Renovation and Design. This siding is designed to stand up to all the crazy weather we get here in Missouri, and it looks fantastic. Lakeside is a James Hardy Elite Preferred Contractor. Whole team, by the way, is in-house, and they're going to take care of all the details, the color, the trim, everything to customize it to your home, to take the stress off of your plate. If your home is showing any signs of wear, it's time to take the next step. Visit lakesiderd.com.
Read all about it. The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 314-567-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Not sure if you've noticed, but the storms seem to be especially bad this spring. If you had James Hardy Smart Siding, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not going to be damaged like in the 314-day storm. So we do roofing, siding, gutters, fences, We're always going to be the middle bid. We're never going to cut corners. We're never going to take advantage of you. Call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh Radner, and I am so excited to tell you about How We Made Your Mother, a rewatch podcast looking back at How I Met Your Mother. And I'm here with Craig Thomas, who co-created the show along with Carter Bays. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Josh. Somehow it has been 20 years since the show premiered. I'm going to check the math on that. 10 years since it went off the air, and we thought that made this a perfect time to look back, see what the hell we did, and why the show still seems to resonate with fans around the world today.
Follow and listen to How We Made Your Mother wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sue's News is coming up. I picked this song to go into it here for a particular reason, Sue Thomas. Elton John, on this day 50 years ago, started a 3-week run at #1 on the U.S. album chart with Rock of the Westies. That was the 10th studio album. The 7th U.S. #1 contained this song, Island Girl, which I love, one of my favorite songs by Elton
6'3",
John.
I love this song.
They just put I don't know what you call this, like an updated version of Captain Fantastic out with different.
that's cool.
And that was from a couple of weeks
love that
ago.
song.
Someone
It's
Saved My
good.
Life Tonight,
Oh.
Philadelphia Freedom. It's really good. Anyway, I thought I'd point out that this was #1 50 years ago. Well, we got to do this on a Friday.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News, presented by U.S. Men's Medical Center.
On this day in history, 60 years ago, I guess I think about the Pillsbury Doughboy not much, but when Thanksgiving comes, I've just been sending out texts today, hey, the only thing, and I like to bake, but crescent rolls at Thanksgiving are so easy, and they're so good. And then this popped up. 60 years ago today, in 1965, the first Pillsbury Doughboy commercial debuted.
I'm Poppin' Fresh, the Pillsbury Doughboy. May I have this dance? Our house smells so nice when
This brings back memories.
you bake something warm and fresh in the oven.
I just kind of remember the Pillsbury Doughboy just getting touched in the little belly and then laughing, right? That's kind of the image.
And then at some point it got weird.
A little creepy then after that?
After that, no,
Well, maybe it took to Ghostbusters for when it became creepy, right?
Nothing looks so good. Golden brown.
This sounds like a commercial from 2025.
Right?
Perfect.
It is perfect.
As fresh home-baked crescent rolls.
Man, have we
Oh,
changed,
man,
right?
do I
Wow.
love those.
No ads like that anymore.
Nope. And on this day in history, 52 years ago, it was in 1973, New Jersey became the first state to let girls play Little League Baseball. And they were ordered to do so in a civil rights hearing. And according to AI, which never lies, approximately 100,000 girls play in Little League Baseball programs today.
I love that. That's
Isn't
awesome.
that nice?
I'm disappointed because my daughter started playing baseball. I mean, she started T-ball, and then she was doing, coach pitch, and she was actually pretty good at it. And then she just decided she didn't want to do it. Like, she didn't want to do softball. So because she was actually showing some skills, and she wasn't really good at catching the ball, but she could hit. She could have been a DH. Look at that.
There,
Fred,
see?
right?
There you go. There you go. All right, and I am going to tell you that we have a special guest for this next story.
I'm so excited about this, especially since he stood us up yesterday.
Well, he couldn't help it. He has 4 boys, as you know. Producer emeritus Dave Klein, are you with us, Dave?
I'm here.
Woohoo!
Hi, Dave.
Okay, we are going to do a story, and of course I need Dave's help. So here we go. It's driving their teachers crazy, but apparently more British kids are talking like Americans. Now, Fred found this story.
Okay.
Now, they say you could blame it on TikTok or Netflix or YouTube because, you know, they're watching it over there, and they're starting to pick up some American accents. Now, a growing number of these teachers have also noticed that they're having their students refer to apartments instead of that is correct. Or they'll call them elevators instead of
lifts.
The fact that we think this is so funny.
Because he's got the worst British accent ever. It's actually sounding passable with one word, though. It's when he cobbles words together is where it really falls off the rails.
And the younger child, the younger the child, the stronger the transatlantic influence. More than 50% of primary school teachers surveyed by the Times of London said they've caught their kids using American words or American accents, compared only to a third of secondary school teachers. Americanisms grating on teachers' nerves the most is Americans, these British kids saying trash instead of
rubbish.
No! I think he's taken lessons. He's taken lessons.
Better, Jane. You're right.
Oh, my gosh. Dave Klein, you're the best. Thank you for that. If you want to give us an entire sentence in that accent, I'm fine with it. How do you feel about Americanisms then in the classroom, young son?
Well, I think that these young American kids are doing a great job of trying to really ingratiate themselves in the American lifestyle.
Yeah, it's being bad. It's back to being bad. It's back to really being bad. Here's what I'd say.
I give it a B. I think he's taken lessons. Dave, you're a genius.
Dave, this is my message to you. Ready?
you.
My message to you from Kevin Klein.
Oh, you English are so superior, aren't you?
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
We
you,
miss you,
Dave.
Dave
Miss you,
Klein.
Dave Klein.
And by the way,
Miss you guys
hey,
too.
I'm digging the beard. You're kind of rocking a beard now.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know for how much longer, but for right now, it's the kids hate it. My wife loves it, so
Yeah.
kind of go back and forth.
I
We
like
know
it.
who's in
You look
charge.
very handsome, David Klein. Thank you very much. Okay, Sue.
Okay, well, I just had to thank him for that. That really
Love him.
entertained
You know,
me.
that British at the end there, the sentence, it sounded very Massachusetts,
A
Boston.
little bit. Well, that's
It
his
sounded
gift.
more like John
Fred.
Kennedy
That's
than
his
anything
gift.
else.
That's his
It
gift.
is.
Yeah, it is.
I stand with Dave Klein. I give it a B.
Okay.
I give it a B.
Now a story for Jane. Oreo has announced a new special edition tin of cookies that taste like Thanksgiving foods. You
What?
can't get them in stores. No. It's only online. 6 different flavors, Jane. Each
Okay.
tin comes with 2 of each. The flavors of these Oreos for Thanksgiving are turkey and stuffing. I can't.
Okay, we got to taste
All right.
this. Come on now.
Sweet potato.
Eh.
Okay, hold. Creamed corn.
Oh, okay. I'm going to take a stand on that one right there. All right.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
I don't even
You hadn't
serve
gone
that
too
for
far until you
Thanksgiving.
did cream corn. Exactly.
Okay. Cranberry sauce.
Yes, that's
Pumpkin
good.
pie. Now, that might be good.
I've tasted pumpkin pie.
And caramel apple pie.
Now
we
the
tried
apple
that,
pie,
those are
didn't
good.
we?
start.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was caramel. I thought it was just apple
Oh,
pie.
it
they were
was
good.
But
Yeah.
those were good, so we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater
Okay,
here.
that's good
I'm
point.
going to order the tin.
Better get that Amazon account going because
You can order a tin for $20 plus shipping. Oreo.com.
I'm on
now the tin, just to be clear, the tin comes with the variety.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so.
All right.
Now, Kraft is selling apple pie flavored mac and cheese online this holiday season, and no, just no.
I'm a no on that, and
You-
I have no standards. I like Peeps.
No.
That's true.
No.
That's
That
true.
does not sound good.
You cannot buy, you can buy a single package at Walmart for $1.48. That's how highly they think of that. Now, in winter sports, you guys, there were some random stories out today, but I found this fascinating. In winter sports, giant snowline hamster wheels might be the next big big thing in skiing, and they're hoping they're going to call it indoor skiing. And it's this huge wheel with snow all the way around it, and you just kind of go back and forth, out and in. You don't go up and upside down. But if you look it up online, it's called a snow tunnel, and it rotates around while you ski inside of them. They are 40 feet across. They can spin at about 30 miles an hour. Look it up online because I know it's very difficult to picture in your head. But, yeah, they're called a snow tunnel.
It was easier for me to picture because Sue was doing her arm movements when she was describing it. So if you were watching on the YouTube or on the X, formerly Twitter, you might have gotten a better image of that. But, yeah, that sounds crazy.
It's just nuts.
Do they have a list of where these exist now?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that. It was just a really brief blurb. But if you Google that, you'll see it.
I have a lot of failures in life, but skiing is one of my major failures.
I
tried. I took lessons, and I
years.
major failed. My signature move was I would go down the hill, and then I would spin backwards, and then I'd fall on my ass. And I was really good at that.
Congratulations.
I dislocated a shoulder, broke my tailbone.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, like things, and I did, unfortunately, fall off of a catwalk and was probably 6 feet down. And
You're a mess.
Oh,
My
I love skiing,
goodness.
though. Well, I mean, I ski trees, but I don't anymore. But
Yeah.
I did. But I had to throw my poles and my skis up onto the catwalk so someone knew I was there.
Oh, my God.
Because when you step, it's all snow.
yeah.
Like, it's not like you can just climb
Right.
up. So,
Whoa.
So somebody had to come and help me. And I've been skied down a mountain and skied by ski patrol.
Good grief. All right, in AI news, this I found interesting. A study found that AI prefers Polish over English. Researchers gave a bunch of AI models the same prompts in 26 different languages, and it understood Polish the best. I mean, what?
Yeah. What? How do you
I
explain
have
that?
jokes
no
write
idea.
themselves.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
do.
English ranked 6th behind French, Italian, Spanish, and Russian. How is Russian easy? I am trying to listen to a book on tape, and, it's not really on tape, it's on Audible. And all the names in it are Russian, and I can't even stand to hear it. It's just not pretty to the ear. So I'm like, I can't, I'm going to have to give up on that book.
Well, we just had George Rosenthal on. We said there's got to be a reason for that, though,
There
right?
has to. We can ask him.
Weird.
And finally, in Sue's news, we have today's random fact. Okay, you have to think about this. For the state of Texas to have the population density of New York City, every single person in the world would have to live there. That's how dense it is
That makes
in
your
New
brain
York
hurt,
City.
right? There you go. Sue's News on a Friday. Paul Hall's coming up. Frank Cusumano a little later in the hour.
I'm Jennifer Scorda with Your Money Now. The Trump administration says it will provide full SNAP benefits for November. That's according to a memo this afternoon from the Department of Agriculture, saying the agency is, quote, working toward implementing November 2025 full benefit issuances. The memo said the department will, quote, later today, make full funds available for the SNAP program. Fox Sports has announced that former New York Jets quarterback Mark Sanchez is no longer with the network. This follows Sanchez's arrest in Indianapolis on October 4th over an incident where he was stabbed for allegedly attacking a truck driver. Former New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees will fill the empty spots. And the government shutdown means another missed jobs report because of the lack of official data on the labor market. The shutdown is in its 37th day, the longest shutdown in history. Also, hundreds of flights have been canceled by the FAA, and currently, November SNAP benefits have not been paid. The Dow finished up 74 points today. The S&P 500 finished the day up 8. The NASDAQ ended the day down 49. And that's Your Money Now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
No need to get technical on heating and cooling. We all want our houses to cool, correct? When it's heating season, we want them to heat, correct? There's not much more to it than that, but I can give you some pointers and tips on the efficiencies, meaning the efficiencies of your house. What you can do to make your house more efficient, and then deciding on what system to purchase, therefore maximizing every single dollar you spent for a furnace and air conditioner. Not spending maximum dollars on a furnace and air conditioner because you're told of an efficiency rating, and that's it. So again, a common sense approach. When you start getting prices for any furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, the only number, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And on a Friday at 4:33, this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
Born in the Midwest, built on common sense. FM Talk. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis conservative.
We got Frank Cusumano coming up. We'll get his thoughts on the Mizzou-Texas A&M game. Jane Duker hanging out with us with Sue Thomas and Fred and Ethan on a Friday afternoon. We also have Paul Hall from Common Guy Films with us this afternoon. How are you, Mr. Hall?
I'm good, Mark. I only talk about one-word titles this week, it seems like, from what they've rolled out for me to see.
All right, so what do you want to start with here?
Let's go to Nuremberg first.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this one. I love World War II dramas or anything around that time period. This one looks intriguing. What do you got for me?
Nuremberg stars Russell Crowe as Hermann Göring, and so we get the trial, the legendary trial. For those of you who know history, you know these trials were something else, and they were held in Nuremberg, taking Göring, who was Hitler's number 2, and the only one that they kind of caught right off the bat as he surrendered to American troops, and then puts the tale around him and a number of the others there. But it's really more the tale between Göring and Douglas Kelly, who is a shrink assigned to come basically feel him out, get his, figure out who he is, what they can use against him, and all the rest. Rami Malek is there for that. And Michael Shannon's along as the prosecutor here, the Justice Robert H. Jackson. This is a cast that's loaded. It's a tale that's loaded. It's a tale that needs to be told, especially now with all the rhetoric that gets thrown around in American politics today. People need to see what a Nazi really is and what Nazis really did. This is, at points, you will get sickened watching the screen. And if you don't, you have no heart. As you see people in various states of surviving the concentration camps. So don't be afraid to see this because of that. However, be aware when you see it that there's going to be some moments in the middle during the trial where you see these scenes. It's really that cat and mouse, that figuring out one person from another. I liked it a lot. The end gets Douglas Kelly's story a little bit more and pushes it out there. He he didn't do much with his story after that, but I think that's kind of in there for today's world, shall we say. I don't know how much he was roundly disinterested for the rest of people, didn't really care. But it's a moment in history, needs to be told with great actors, and Nuremberg definitely has that.
Unless you're Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson these days. I'm very interested in the Sydney Sweeney movie, which is called Christy, which is based on a true story of Christy Martin, who was a prize fighter. And boy, this looks like a different Sydney Sweeney than she is in the American Eagle jeans commercial, doesn't it?
Yeah. Nobody that watched the American Eagle jeans commercial is going to complain about Sweeney in her role here. She really takes it all on, almost to that level where The Rock took it on, Dwayne Johnson took it on in The Smashing Machine, where she becomes Christy Martin. Now, for those of you who don't remember, I grew up in this Christy Martin era, as I'm sure you did, and so many others. But I was a fight fan at the time. I remember this is the start, really, of female boxing, and was coming on to the scene. Men didn't trust women's boxing. They didn't want anything to do with women's boxing. And Christy Martin changed the way that was, changed people's eyes on some of that stuff, because Christy Martin was a bad mamma jamma, let's just say. She would come in the ring and do some things that just really would embarrass her opponents, because she was so much more tough. And I will say, because she rose from the tough man competitions. There also was relationship issues with Sydney Sweeney. Her husband here at the point, Jim, who's played by Ben Foster, another character in this movie you will not recognize on screen. For those of you who know Ben Foster, he takes on a role that you will not like before it's all said and done. This is in an era where boxing with females was at its infancy, and everything around it was very sexist and very tough to deal with. Sweeney is wonderful in this movie. It's not for everybody, but I'll tell you, I liked Christy a lot, knowing Christy Martin's story, knowing kind of where it goes. And it's a little tough to watch before it gets all said and done as well.
So one of the films that I've been most intrigued by, just because I'm a huge Guillermo del Toro fan, is Frankenstein. And I thought that was going to be theatrical, but that's out this weekend, and that's a Netflix release?
Yeah, you can go see that on Netflix today. It did have a really small Netflix or a small theatrical run, not for a lot of cities. The big cities, they always claim, the coast, because we live in the middle of the country. We don't get those type of things. But Frankenstein, the fact that Guillermo del Toro is behind this, he brings this to the screen, means you are going to have attention to detail that is something that you haven't seen with the Tale of Frankenstein before. Oscar Isaac stars as Victor Frankenstein. Jacob Elordi is the creature that he created. You've got Christoph Waltz alongside, and Mia Goth, who's perfect in her role as Elizabeth. The beauty of this is in the look on the screen. You will have your home screen through Netflix just blown out of your mind as you look at the detail that's there. Again, kind of a common thread for everything. Some of this, as he's building Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's building his monster, is a little gory. Guillermo del Toro doesn't mince words in the way he puts it together and the way he starts building the beast. This is not like Frankenstein that you saw in the 30s.
I like
This is Frankenstein today. Long movie, 2.5 hours long, so you got to stick with it. But it's a beautiful movie to watch, told very well from the perspective of a couple different ways, and I liked it.
That's
I
awesome.
surprised myself.
I love Guillermo, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Let me tell you something that I started watching last night that I liked quite a bit, and I can't remember if you mentioned it last week at all. Jane, I think you're going to like this one as well. I stumbled upon it. I knew it was coming out, and I just pressed play just to see what I would think. It's called Death by Lightning, and this is based on the true story of what happened with President James Garfield. You've seen the whole thing at this point?
No.
Okay, because it just got released. I think it just came out a couple of days ago. Have you? Now, you mentioned Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon plays James Garfield. Matthew McFadden plays the assassin Charles Guiteau, and it's really interesting. This is a different historical type of drama. Betty Gilpin is in the cast as well. Bradley Whitford, you might remember him from The West Wing. Nick Offerman has a role in here. So this one kind of intrigued me. I didn't know what to expect, but I liked what I saw in the first episode. The other recommendation that I would have, and I'm just going to admit that I'm intrigued by this for personal reasons as well, not because I have history as a serial killer, but because I grew up in the area that John Wayne Gacy was abducting boys and burying them in his crawl space. But the Gacy Peacock series is really, really good. There have been a couple of John Gacy docuseries, and then Peacock had the documentary. This is actually based on the documentary. It's really, really well executed. It's creepy as hell, as you might imagine. That story is just awful. But I would recommend that if you're looking for something episodic. Jane, have you checked that one out yet?
Well, the Death by Lightning I started. The Allen Iverson
documentary. That looks
I might
good,
like
too.
It
that.
was.
Is that really good?
Bawled my eyes out.
Wow.
It just really touched me. He's a very interesting, incredible guy.
He lost all his money, right?
No.
I thought he did.
No. He's on that show with Shaq. They do the shoes together.
But I thought at one point he had...
No,
okay.
no. Some bad things happened to him,
something
though,
else.
and things that shouldn't have happened to him, which, enraged me.
Paul, I lived in
he went
Milwaukee
through
when the Bucks were really good when George Karl was the coach, Glenn Robinson. Paul's up in Milwaukee, which is why I bring this up. So this would have been 25 years ago or the early 2000 period. Remember when the Bucks were good with Glenn Robinson? And I remember that series with the 76ers was kind of crazy.
Intense. And then the other show I watched was It's Her Fault on Peacock. About first of all, I think it's incredibly female. The actresses are phenomenal. They outshine everyone. The women clearly do better, but it is about a kid that's abducted.
Oh gosh!
And whose fault it is.
Okay.
And it is. I mean, it grips you right now. It a little bit. There's a few miscues where, it goes a little bit off the shark, but you're on the edge of your seat the entire time.
And this one is on Peacock?
Peacock.
Paul,
So-
are you familiar with that one or not?
I know about it. I have not gotten there as of yet,
Sarah
given
Snook
that.
From
Yes.
Succession, and who else? The blonde girl. She was incredible. But it's and Sarah is incredible in this.
Awesome. We'll look at that one.
As a mom whose child has been abducted.
I was thinking about this on the roundtable. I'll ask this now because it's entertainment related. We're going to talk with Congressman Jason Smith at the top of the hour. Which will end the first, the government shutdown or the YouTube versus Disney dispute? Because I'm going to be so pissed off if I can't watch the Packers and the Eagles on Monday night. And it's not looking good right now.
Well, you know what? I think they're doing it because they want everybody to go to their. I don't think it's going to happen. I think, and YouTube.
They're
took
going
20,
to they're going to have it back on.
$20 off my bill. So
Well, no, they're going to get it back on YouTube TV, or they're going to lose all their customers. I mean, people. There's no way that
people are
millions
not
of
going to pay
people.
$30.
Jane,
so I'm paying
what I'm telling you is,
more.
Yeah,
but
there's not going to be millions of
I
people
don't trust these
that
people.
stick with YouTube TV if they don't have ESPN.
Making good decisions. Is that consistent?
No.
No, thank you.
Good point.
But I'll tell you what, 20 years ago I told people, as people started saying, I want to pick my networks, I want to cut the cord, I said, look, someday, somewhere, cable's going to come back together and bring all the packages back together because people are going to get fed up. And this is one of those moments, those kind of watershed moments that you're going to learn that maybe the right idea before, quote unquote, is absolutely the wrong idea now to bring some of these services back together. Because great programming is on all the services, whether it's Apple TV Plus or Peacock or Prime. All of them have something. You can't afford them all anymore.
Yeah, but
It's
the
just
deal
not
is
possible.
YouTube I do think, and they're seen as a bully a little bit, but they have the numbers to compete and have some leverage here, which is
They've
why.
missed Monday Night Football. They've missed Saturday football. They missed ESPN Game
Right?
Day.
And they're going to miss it again tomorrow.
And I do not see anything that indicates that they don't
Here's
care
what I see that
about
makes it look
websites.
like they may buckle at some point. ESPN, I've had a number of responses from folks that have tried the other services, went away, said they hate the interfaces on some of the other services that are out there. And that gives YouTube a leg up, because if that's how people want to watch it, and nobody wants to buy another streaming app, whether it's ESPN or ESPN and Fox or ESPN and Fox and Hulu or ESPN and the Cooking Channel. It doesn't matter. Yeah. They're done with them. So I think they're pushing a losing battle at ESPN, and hopefully they'll come to their senses.
All right, Paul, tell folks where they can find your reviews.
CommonGuy.com.
We'll talk next week.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got plenty of volume out there, and an accident eastbound 70 approaching Wentzville Parkway. It's in the left lane, but they really have both lanes blocked, and traffic is kind of squeezing by on the right shoulder. Look for a jam back past Forest Dell. Westbound traffic is jammed out there as well, and that starts at Highway A. Now, 70 out of downtown, just moderate volume, Jennings Station Road and pockets on out. 64 lines up at Kings Highway in pockets on out. It's really slow Highway N out through 70. Northbound 270. There was an accident at Olive in the right lane causing delays and a jam headed into Illinois on the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by Aspen Contracting, roofsbyaspen.com. Don't let cracked or missing siding leave your home vulnerable to St. Louis weather. Aspen has the crews and project managers ready to protect your home and restore its beauty. Call them today for a free siding inspection, 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sue, I've been told by a couple listeners that the signal's been dipping in and out a little bit this afternoon, and that's always very frustrating. So we apologize for that if that's happening to you, and I'm sure we'll get the crack team on it as soon as we can.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, if you have been thinking about retirement and you've thought to yourself, all right, we have saved money, but this is getting close. I mean, do we know for sure that we have enough money to get us through retirement? To me, the only way you're going to know that is to have a professional written retirement plan in place. And why I like financial and tax architects is because they will not only sit down with you and figure that out, but what they do first is teach you how things work. So they put on a class called Retirement Planning 101. It's for adults. It's 2.5 hours long. It's just one night. And you sit there and start to learn, oh, okay, these are some tax advantages I might have. I may want to consider this when I'm taking my Social Security. They cover it all. Now, they do this class for free, but that's how you will see them in action and what they're about. So register for a class. They fill up quickly. FTA-RIA.com, FTA-RIA.com, and start there.
It's an annual tradition, the Edwardsville Veterans Day Parade this Tuesday. Here on the Annie Fry Show, we're going to take a break from the air that day to come celebrate with you starting at 3 p.m. For more information, visit 971talk.com/events.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Dad, that's what Grandpa Rip always said.
That's right. 50 years ago, Grandpa started Grasser, and whenever a customer called, he'd smile and say, "Hey, it's good to see you."
Hey, it's good to see you.
It was his way of treating people like neighbors, not numbers. That's why we still say it today.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Public schools, like public libraries, should be free and open to all. Open enrollment allows parents to choose the school that's the best fit for their children. Maybe another school has a wider curriculum, is bigger or smaller. Maybe a kid is being bullied and would be more comfortable at another school. 75% of parents favor open enrollment. Open enrollment programs now exist in 43 states, and Missouri should join them. Our next-door neighbor, Kansas, has one of the strongest open enrollment policies in the nation. Kansas parents are trusted with choices and options, while Missouri parents must move out of their home to change public schools. And it's a trend. Nationwide, the percentage of students going to their chosen public school has steadily increased. Assigning kids to schools based on their zip code is the old way. Open enrollment is a better way. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Huge game in Columbia, Missouri tomorrow. Texas A&M visiting the Missouri Tigers. Frank Cusumano from KSTK. Give us a preview. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. The Aggies would be a favorite. They're one of the best teams in the country, flat out. If Mizzou manages to pull an upset, it would be legendary, I think. Frank, how are you this afternoon?
It really would be. It'd be the best victory in Eli Drinkwitz's career, no doubt about it. And, let me just say this. Texas A&M, they travel well. They've played 3 road games. They've been over 30 points in all 3 of those road games. So they're not intimidated by the ambiance. They went to Notre Dame and went to town. But I will say this. You know how in college football, Mark, they have that ridiculous stat where if the quarterback is sacked, that counts against rushing yards. On the NFL, they don't do that.
Yeah, right.
Well, so if you throw that stat out the window, they are a bottom 10 team in the country in yards per carry given up. And let's face it, that should be a Mizzou strength with Ahmad Hardy. And I think they can run the ball. And if they can run the ball, that changes everything. It sets up everything for Matt Zollers. Now the key is, what do they do with protecting Matt Zollers? Because Texas A&M leads the country in sacks. And they have a guy like Cassius Howell who just wants to hurt quarterbacks. So if they can protect them, I think they can run the ball. I think they got a good shot. They got a decent shot.
Both teams coming off a bye also, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I guess that gives Texas A&M a little bit of chance to look at video of Zollers, who they probably have more high school video on as opposed to the half he played against Mizzou. But I played last week against Vanderbilt. I will say this, though, is I think that Kirby Moore can open up the passing game more with Zollers than he could with Perbula.
I agree.
Simply because he's got more arm talent.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Look, and I've been to enough of these games where I'm ready to leave even in the second quarter when Mizzou starts to get blown out. But I love the way that we've been able to contain some of these offenses. It's going to be a huge crowd tomorrow, both A&M fans and Mizzou fans. I cannot wait. You got a wonderful football weekend ahead of us.
Frank, my biggest concern is how do you slow down Marcel Reed? I mean, arguably he's been a top 3 quarterback in college football this year. I know that Mizzou has the edge rush, but realistically, do you think that they're going to be able to slow him down enough to keep up offensively?
I do. Look, Mizzou did a pretty good job with the last Heisman Trophy candidate they faced in Diego Pavia. And I know Reed's probably a better athlete. He's bigger, stronger, a little faster. But, that Mizzou defense, every once in a while they give up a long pass, and that's the one thing that scares you about them. But in terms of getting to the quarterback and the linebackers like Trotter and then the defensive ends like Wilson and Young, I have a lot of confidence. They got some dudes on this defense.
When will the Blues win a game again?
Well, they actually came back and won last night.
Oh, they did
and
win last
Mark,
night. Okay, sorry, but I missed that. I did miss that. I was watching football.
Well, I understand, and a lot of people were too, I bet. But I will say this, if you want to be positive about it, they have won 2 of their last 3. Now, they just completely laid an egg in Washington. It was embarrassing as hell. They were down 5-0 just like that. But they came back, and the coach sent a message last night. He benched a star player. They came out and played, extremely well.
Frank, I'm kind of intrigued about where the Blues are right now because, there's rumors floating around that Doug Armstrong is obviously not happy with what they're seeing, and he's been in talks with some teams. I've seen Jordan Kyrie's name being thrown out there a little bit. Do you think that there's a world in which, the Blues are, just to try and change things up, making an early season trade?
I sincerely doubt that. Now, I think that if we're talking closer to the deadline and things aren't working out, that's the name, Kyrou, that would be most likely to go because he has value, and sometimes he rubs coaches the wrong way. But, let's just see how this thing plays out. I talked to one Blues official at its worst, and he says, you know what? Why not finish with the worst record so you can get the first or second pick in the draft? We haven't done that before, but I don't think we're at that point yet.
What's going on Sunday night?
Oh, we're going to have a good one. I'm glad you brought it up. The greatest high school pitcher ever produced out of St. Louis and a first ballot Hall of Famer, Max Scherzer. We go one-on-one, talk about everything from Parkway Central to Mizzou to his just the way that he lives for competition. And then we also sit down, the president of the Cardinals, for a no-holds-barred interview with Chaim Bloom and get his take on what they're going to do this offseason.
Are you heading up to Columbia tomorrow or not?
I think I'm just going to watch it. I got so much going on. It's 3 hours if you just stay at home and watch. So,
well, these games sometimes push to 4 hours. I mean,
you're right.
Sometimes it's a little ridiculous. Hey, have a great weekend. Hopefully Monday afternoon we'll be talking about a Mizzou victory.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Take care.
I think that honestly, Ethan, I think we could get blown out, and we could lose by 3 points, or we might be able to win the game. All ranges are open tomorrow, I think.
Lightning can strike.
It 100%. The spread on this is 6.5. I mean, this is that that one possession game, anyone's game. But I completely agree. This could end up being a really good game, or it could be ugly because you have a true freshman quarterback that's making his first career start against the top 3 team in the country.
But sometimes they don't know better. I mean, I hate
to
say that.
There's something to that.
I mean, look at Ryan Williams. I mean, his freshman year, oh my goodness. Sometimes.
Look, this kid looked good against Vanderbilt, and I'm going to give him all the chance he needs tomorrow.
And if they go after this quarterback, this guy's not used to it. And I'm telling you, they could rattle him.
And I think that the remainder of the team feels a responsibility sometimes when the quarterback takes a step back that you have to do your part to an even further level. Right. If Mizzou can do that, they have a shot.
MIZ.
COU.
Jane, we'll see you next week.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Some issues on the roads tonight, and one of those is eastbound on 70. And it's west of Wentzville Parkway. We have an accident here, and it started in the left lane. They've got both left lanes blocked, and they're kind of squeezing traffic by on the shoulder. So only one lane, in quotes, getting by, and it really has created a jam behind it. Traffic, though, is jammed in both directions. So it's a slow go out there. Southbound traffic on 270, mainly moderate, but it does stretch from Olive down through Doherty Ferry. It's northbound that's jammed. We had an accident south of Olive that caused a delay. Westbound 64, that's a slow go. It's Kings Highway out past McCausland. Then it looks better out west. We've got a jam and an accident reported now eastbound coming off the Poplar Street Bridge to 70. That's road work, but an accident reported in the middle of it. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Simply the finest when it comes to shower doors and mirror glass. They are out in Chesterfield Valley. They have the best showroom in the area. Go see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
The very latest on the government shutdown, Congressman Jason Smith, he's the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. He has been stuck in his district because the House already did its job. We'll get the latest after Fox News coming up here.
Extra, read all about it. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. The Federal Reserve just dropped interest rates again. And that means you can save even more money on your mortgage. If you've been waiting for the right time to refinance, this is it. Our customers are saving hundreds, even thousands every month. What could you do with an extra $1,000 every month? You can also pull cash out of your home's equity to pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or just get ahead. If you refinance now, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll even pay for your appraisal. But don't wait. Rates can rise again anytime, and they change fast. For today's rate, call Golden Oak Lending now at 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
It was all going perfectly until Uncle Joe dropped the gravy boat. Don't let Thanksgiving spills leave a stain on your holidays. Call Zero Res of St. Louis. Their patented cleaning technology lifts out even the toughest gravy, cranberry sauce, or pumpkin pie disasters without soap or residue, so your carpets and upholstery stay cleaner longer. And with the holidays coming up, you don't want Aunt Linda sitting on a dirty couch, do you? It's time for sweaters, sweatpants, and cozy nights at home, so make sure your home feels fresh and clean with Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? Don't trust those deal of the day cleaners or try to DIY it. Zero Res has a 4.9 star rating on Google with over 5,900 reviews. Safe, effective, and trusted all over St. Louis. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and save $50 off air duct cleaning. Call 314-474-2020 or book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the KFTK special. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It spells the same.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
They call it
a non-starter. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Senate Republicans reject a new proposal from Democrats to reopen the government.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer offering a deal to pass a continuing resolution to end the shutdown.
We'd like to offer a simple proposal that would reopen the government and extend the ACA premium tax credits simultaneously.
Democrats want a one-year continuation of Affordable Care Act tax credits and to establish a bipartisan committee to continue negotiations on long-term reforms. But Republican Senator Steve Daines tells Fox
these subsidies are paid directly to the insurance companies. 20% of these subsidies are fraudulent.
He says the proposal from Democrats does nothing to end rising health care costs, and the tax credits only serve to increase costs.
Fox's Jill Nato in Washington. The shutdown forcing the cancellation of more than 1,000 flights due to lack of air traffic controllers. This woman at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta blaming Congress.
This is very tacky, but I hope some of those senators and congressmen get stuck because they can't get somewhere, so they'll get there and figure this out and get it going again.
More canceled flights are expected in the coming days as the FAA ordered a flight reduction at the country's busiest airports. The National Transportation Safety Board now going through evidence related to Tuesday's deadly crash of a UPS cargo plane in Louisville, Kentucky, including the cockpit voice recorder.
After the crew called for takeoff thrust, a repeating bell was heard on the CVR, which persisted until the end of the recording 25 seconds later.
NTSB board member Todd Inman, who says during that time the crew tried to regain control of the aircraft. The cargo plane killed all 3 people on board and at least 10 others on the ground. Wall Street, the Dow gained 74. America is listening to Fox News.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our temperatures well above average as we go into the evening, but an Arctic cold front is on the way. Some clouds developing tonight. Evening temperatures dropping through the 60s. 45 will do it for the overnight low. On Saturday, changeable sky, a couple of spotty showers. 65 for the high with a slow drop in temperature during the afternoon. Saturday night, it's cloudy, it's windy, some sprinkles, some snow flurries late night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Congressman Jason Smith is going to join us in just a couple of minutes. He is the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. Is there any action? Is there any movement on the government shutdown? We'll get the very latest here in just a couple of minutes. Our friend Tim Sommer later in the hour. We're going to talk some music. This is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction weekend. It's the 50th anniversary of the Sex Pistols, and apparently they went on stage last night, so we'll talk about that. And then I never got to talk to Tim about the Super Bowl halftime stuff with Bad Bunny. Ethan, did you put my Bad Bunny in there? You did.
It is in there.
So can I just admit something? And I can't remember if you were in the room when I realized this earlier. Honestly, the way my brain is working, maybe other people are having struggles with this as well. We are off on Veterans Day. The show is off.
Is that Tuesday?
Okay, well, that's why I'm bringing it up. So Ethan's been working because, and this is a little weird. I'm just going to be honest. It's one of the sanctioned holidays for Odyssey. So we take advantage, right? We're not going to work on Tuesday, and because
I think I'm
of
going
that,
golfing.
Yeah, right. But because of that, we got a best of show that we're putting together. And honestly, in my mind, Fred had to correct this. I'm thinking Veterans Day is a week from Tuesday. And I'm just, and I knew it was Tuesday, but again, in my mind, just because we're already into the first week in November, deer camp starts a week from today. You got Thanksgiving in like 3 weeks. It's nuts. But when Fred said, no, that's Tuesday, I'm like, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it, though. We got a couch getting delivered that day. I'll be home all day.
Yes, we will have some fine segments, too, that will air. Let's
quick,
hear what will air on Tuesday,
Yeah, let's throw
Ethan.
a couple of them out there. Leland Vittert came on at the end of September and got to talk a little bit about his story. I think he was coming into St. Louis to
do book signing, right.
Yeah.
So Lucky Vittert is a St. Louis native, and he had autism issues, and he has gone on to great success on News Nation. He was a Fox anchor and reporter. He's on News Nation now, and he's a local guy.
Rennie Knott and his resignation from KSDK.
Yeah, Rennie joined us a couple weeks ago.
Whole process. George Rosenthal and AI and the whole situation of how it's going to be impacting American jobs. Remember when Rocky Sickman joined us after the hostages got released? Right. He was able to share a little bit about his story.
Rocky was a hostage in the Iran, hostage crisis in 1979.
TJ Moe sharing the impact of Charlie Kirk's death and just what that meant for the country. Scott Jennings joined us a couple of weeks ago explaining why Democrats are so mad at Donald Trump right now. So those are a few of what are going to be in the Best of show on Tuesday.
What I like to do, we're going to have some Best ofs that will air during the holidays as well. I like to keep those a little more lighter. Like, for example, one that would be guaranteed, Sue, was the interview we did the other day with the father who caught the home run ball from the World Series, and his son caught, he caught the Rojas ball, and his son caught the Smith ball, and that was amazing storytelling. So I like to save those back for, Thanksgiving week.
What about,
or Christmas.
I was looking through them earlier. Remember Hank Lima and that amazing story
Lena.
from
Yes.
from the Lena, from the when was that? We were the fish
New
fry.
Zealand.
Fish fry, yeah.
Our
so
new American.
Yeah, but he came to the fish fry.
Yeah, he came to the fish fry. So we got some really good stuff in there. There's some really good best ofs throughout the year that we'll have in the holidays.
All right. Well, maybe Tim Sommer, who's going to join us a little later this hour. Tim's segments are always great. That's coming up at 5:20. But right now, Jason Smith, Missouri congressman from the 8th District in the southeastern part of Missouri. He's also the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, so he's a big part of all this that goes on with negotiations. Jason, how's it going this afternoon?
It's going great. It's good to be with you as always, Mark.
Well, you've spent a lot of time in Missouri here the past 30-plus days, haven't you?
It's crazy, and it's ridiculous. The American people, it's not ridiculous that I've been in Missouri. That's like
right.
That's a great place to be. But it's ridiculous that there's a government shutdown that's lasted for this long, let alone there should never be a government shutdown. And it's all for political gain. I mean, I was talking to some folks today. This is the first time, Mark, in the history of America that any party has shut down government because they refuse to allow a vote of just a continuation of current funding that they have voted for 13 times on.
Yeah, so what's the end game here? Now we have these backups with air traffic control. We're getting closer to the holidays. It's utterly ridiculous. And by the way, I think you know this. Even Dana Bash at CNN and some of the other super uber lefty legacy media people have had to remind Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and the rest of them that they're the ones not voting to open up the government. But they keep trying to convince us otherwise. I mean, Hakeem doubles down, Jason, every time it's brought up, and it's utterly ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I was in Washington, D.C. for a couple days this week, and I will tell you that the Democrats, after the election on Tuesday, they are more emboldened than ever before, and that is because they are fearful of their base. Because the leader of the party is no longer Nancy Pelosi. She's retiring, but she's not the leader of the party. The leader of the party is AOC. Whenever she says that if you want to open up government, come to my house, come to my office, I'm here, It's the truth. She leads the party. Chuck Schumer will do whatever AOC tells her to do because he's scared to death of her looking in the rearview mirror at a primary.
All right, so let me go back to the endgame question, because there's no reason in my mind that you guys should buckle. Look, you did your job in the House. You sent it to the Senate. We're kind of waiting on that right now. But, they keep thinking, I guess, in the back of their mind that these Obamacare subsidies are going to be negotiated before the CR is passed. And you should address those issues, too, because that's important to keep reminding people that those were temporary, and they were temporary again when the Democrats voted on, and they're now expiring because they were temporary. That's part of this.
It's exactly right. But it's important to remind everyone that all that we're doing is trying to get them to vote for a continuation of funding.
Exactly.
For what the level of funding was for the prior year until there's an agreement on everything else. We're not saying this is going to be permanent funding. We're just saying keep the government open, make sure government checks, make sure the military is receiving, government employees are receiving checks, military is receiving checks, services are working, but they are publicly saying that, yes, people's hurting, and that is our leverage. They know that by the government shutting down and SNAP benefits not being paid fully hurts people, and that in their minds is their leverage. When you think about these subsidies and the things that they're asking for a lot of things. They're demanding almost $1.5 trillion in additional spending, which includes about $200 billion that would go directly for health care for illegal immigrants. And then, of course, the subsidies is another item that they're talking about, the insurance subsidies. And this is something that they created during COVID in the American Rescue Plan, and they extended it again in the Inflation Reduction Act. Not one Republican has ever voted for these in the history of America, in the House or the Senate. And they're demanding this whenever it subsidizes the insurance companies and not the individual.
Yeah, so as we get close, look, I think they're anticipating, and I've seen some polling that may be trending in their direction. As you indicated, they may be emboldened by what happened on Tuesday. But look, the American people are going to lose their collective minds if we can't get this, airline situation in particular closed. You have the SNAP benefits that are there as well. The messaging has been right on point from your side, from Mike Johnson every day. And they just keep saying the same things and keep lying. But I think they have, for the most part, the legacy media on their side, Jason. So is there a point where you see someone blinking here?
Yeah, they absolutely will. But we're in a very scary position because air traffic shutting down. I was in the D.C. airport yesterday, and it was the worst travel day that I've ever experienced. It's because of these factors. And I have to fly a lot, and that's saying a pretty amazing statement. But what I have to remind people is the reason people are like, well, Republicans control the White House, the House, and the Senate. Why can't you fund government? It's because of that 60-vote Senate rule of a filibuster, and there's only 53 Republicans over there. So you got to have at least 7 Democrats. Unfortunately, we only got 2 to 3 Democrats who will join us. We need 4 or 5 more. But they're banding together and holding together right now.
What's your reaction to what happened on Tuesday overall? Some people say it's a bloodbath for Republicans. Look, I think overreaction is something that political pundits are really good at, Jason, and these are pretty deep blue states where the Republicans lost. Now, the margins, everybody wants to point to the margins. Maybe they were a little bit bigger. I think that's more of an issue for the polling industry, which got these wrong in New Jersey in particular. But obviously, history's sort of on the side of the opposing party that's not in control. Is this, though, a warning sign for Republicans for what might happen in the midterms next year?
First off, when people, you hear the sky is falling approach because of the elections on Tuesday, we're talking about the states of Virginia and New Jersey. In the state of Virginia, a Republican has not won the governorship while a Republican is in the White House since 1969. 1969. And we've only won one governor in the last 3 decades in the state of New Jersey. These are blue states. It's expected that Democrats win these states. If a Republican wins, that is a rarity.
Yeah.
And it occasionally happens, but it is not a sign that the sky's falling. What Tuesday did show us, though, Mark, is that the leader of the party is Zohran Mamdani and AOC. And that is exactly what has happened. And you know, the old guard's retiring. Nancy Pelosi is retiring, and that's who she's being replaced with.
Are you going to throw a big party for her? I mean, she's retiring, but she's still going to be there through next year, right? I mean, she doesn't leave office until January 27.
That's right. It's until this term ends. She decided not to seek re-election. And, I mean, she's 85 years old, so I think that...
it's time. It's past time.
She stayed long enough.
Yes, I would agree. I don't know why she wouldn't just step out right now, but that's how these things go. When it comes to the rest of the year, the speakers, I know you say you went back this week, but the speaker's basically not having the House come back until all this is settled, right? Is there anything that needs to be done outside of these CRs before the end of the year and whatever negotiations may take place? Or could this perhaps end, or keep going through the end of the year, if you will?
It can't. This has to be finished and fixed. There's a lot of other stuff that's on the table. You have several expiring tax provisions at the end of the year. Not that many, because we took care of most of them in the big, beautiful bill. These are mainly bipartisan tax provisions that are expiring. And then you have all the issues that's going on with trade, which there's quite a few, and that's keeping us extremely busy. And a few things on healthcare that's expiring at the end of the year that need to be addressed, that are bipartisan. We got a lot of work to do.
Well, let's see if we can get you back to Washington. I would have loved to have heard some news today that maybe there's going to be something that breaks in this shutdown, but not so far. Jason, have a great weekend. We'll see where this takes us. We'll talk soon.
You do the same, Mark. Talk to you later.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, let's see what we've got. Westbound 70, just a little moderate volume there past Jennings Station Road. Then things open up, and really, you don't find volume again until approaching K out through Wentzville. Things are looking better, but we had that accident eastbound 70 west of Wentzville Parkway in the left lanes. It really created a jam there. 64 out of downtown is the usual Kings Highway out through McCausland, but it really jams up again from Highway N out through 70. Now, 55 is looking much better. Southbound 270, just some moderate volume. Northbound between Manchester and 64, and southbound at Ladue Road. Still some slow-moving traffic. Now, if you're headed in from Illinois tonight, there's some volume on the Poplar, but it's eastbound that's jammed approaching 70. And that is all due to road work. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership, and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need, while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Read all about it! The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 314-567-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family-owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I'm not a big tribute guy, but there's this tribute to Bad Company that I love right now. And they do it with Paul Rogers and some of the members of Bad Company, but they, on these tribute albums, they always have different artists that are also doing the songs. And this is a band called Blackstone Cherry doing Burnin' Sky. And it's just such a great tribute record. I'll play a little bit more of this after we welcome in our friend Tim Sommer to the fray this afternoon. Going to talk a little music. It's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction weekend, and the Bad Company is actually one of the inductees. Tim is a music journalist, former record executive, contributes to the Rock and Roll Globe. He is the guy who signed Hootie and the Blowfish, wrote a book about that, and he's our music guru here on 97.1 FM Talk. Tim, how are you?
What kind words you say about me, Mark Reardon?
Every once in a while, I do that. But I did tell you about, I've checked with some friends of mine. It's interesting. I don't have a lot of friends who are in or were in to Bad Company as much as I was when I was like 13 and 14 years old. I was a bigger fan of Bad Company at that period of my life than I was the Rolling Stones, because I was into Zeppelin and a few other bands, and then Tom Petty I got curious about. But as I indicated to you, this tribute record is really, really good. And there's Hailstorm on here. There's the Struts. Charlie Crockett is really good.
One of the great things about tribute records is it gives you a chance to find out about other bands that you probably never would have heard of. And I want to say this. One of the first times I heard Bad Company, I heard the song Bad Company, and I ran to a friend, I literally ran to a friend of mine, and I said, what is this amazing, sinister, tough music? Because, in Bad Company, there was always this weird sort of sinister undertone, like foreboding, like clouds on the horizon, and then these big chords come in, and there was something so magical about it. Plus then, Paul Rogers, one of the great white blues voices in the history of rock and roll.
He really is. He is really one of the best.
Put all of that together, and you have a band that definitely deserves entry into a Hall of Fame. I don't give a damn if it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Hockey Hall of Fame or the Curling Hall of Fame or the Pickleball Hall of Fame. Bad Company belong there.
Here's the song you referred to. This is with Charlie Crockett. Listen to this here. I love this guy, Charlie Crockett. And I'll play a couple. Let me play a couple others here just because
Sure.
this is Feel Like Making Love. I can't remember who's on this. I'll check here. Another, this is Slash, Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. And deep into this song, Slash just shreds the guitar, as you might imagine. And then there's Shooting Star.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's with Hailstorm and Lizzie Hale. So there you go. I just want to recommend that album, and I'm glad that I'm not Shooting Star. That's another band from Kansas City. I'm glad that Bad Company's going into the Hall of Fame this weekend.
Yeah, me too.
But are you disappointed with? And I know we talk about this. Who didn't get in? Who does get in?
I mean, the fact is, I can't railing about the bad. I won't say bad. Railing about what the Hall of Fame does and doesn't do. It's a useless proposition.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Because you know what? And I've said this on your show before. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is what is in your car. When you get in your car and you put on that song that is going to make you feel good or make you have a memory or make you cry on that day, that, sir, is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So who cares who they actually induct? And yeah, they make a lot of damn mistakes, most of which, for the record, revolve around the fact that they seem anti-British. They seem having said that, of course, Bad Company is a British band. But the fact that they haven't inducted bands, so many worthwhile British heavy metal bands, Mott the Hoople, who I think are one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, and who led directly to Bad Company. I don't think they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, though someone may correct me and say I'm wrong about that. But I think the fascinating thing, you listen to a band like Bad Company, and you go, that's a band that's both about the testicles and the heart.
And
do you
by
know
the
what
way,
I mean? It's that thing. It's like they have this like emotionality to themselves. Yet then, just when it's reaching and it's tickling your heart, then all of a sudden those big fat chords come in, and that's the thing they have in common. I don't want to be too music geeky here. That's the thing they have in common with Mott the Hoople, the band that preceded him, that their guitarist Mick Ralphs was also in.
yeah. So I don't think that they're all going to be there either, because there's some health issues with Paul Rogers.
Paul Rogers just dropped out today, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and I think it's health reasons. But they're back in L.A. for the ceremony. Elton John and Mick Fleetwood are going to perform. It is on Saturday night at 5 p.m., I think that might be Pacific time out there at the Peacock Theater. And you can watch it on Disney Plus this year. And ABC's going to air a highlight reel on New Year's night. That's not typical because it used to be on HBO, so they must have lost that. And I guess you can, that's kind of cool that you can watch it live. So you got Bad Company, Chubby Checker. We played this, Sue, the other day. Remember, we played little Joe Cocker. So he's getting, where did I put that? I had that. Oh, here we go. So I don't know about Joe Cocker and this song being in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's see. Outkast, Soundgarden, The White Stripes.
Another one of those artists who, exactly like Bad Company, mixes emotionality with the toughness of that 60s garage rock, like the Kinks or whatnot. He mixes both of those things together. In that sense, I think he's very much of a piece with Bad Company. I have very little qualms, not that I have the right to have the qualms about any goddamn thing, but I have very few qualms with the entries this year into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I feel it's a good class. I feel these are artists who earned their place there. I might have a little bit of a problem with Chubby Checker just for the fact that I think there should be a separate wing of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for one or two hit wonders, people who didn't sustain careers, but that's another story.
Yeah, and I don't know if I disagree with you on that. I'm playing Cyndi Lauper. She's getting inducted. Outkast, Soundgarden, The White Stripes. In the performer category, Salt and Peppa, and I got a little Warren Zevon music coming up in a bump here in our next segment. But there's a couple of things that we haven't had a chance to talk about, which includes Bad Bunny playing the Super Bowl halftime show, and I got some other things that I want to cover. I mentioned, I think I sent you this piece, Tim, that Irving Azoff wrote about YouTube and the royalties. So we'll get to that. So hang on, we got one more segment to go, plus an audio cut of the day coming up as well.
I believe my soul is on fire.
traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, things are improving on the commute. They've cleared that accident eastbound 70 before Wentzville Parkway. So that's some good news. Things are looking a lot better out there. And we do have some volume on westbound 70. There was an accident near Jennings Station Road, but it's not a hideous jam. There's a little bit of a slowdown. The slowdown comes between Highway K, just west of there, out through Wentzville. And we do have volume westbound 6440. It's more like Hampton now, out through McCausland, eastbound, slowing at 170 through Big Bend. And then 64 does line up Highway N out through the 70 split. There's some moderate volume northbound 270 at Ladue Road. And if you're headed into Illinois, there's volume coming off the Poplar through 70, all due to road work. And westbound, a little bit of slow go on the bridge as well, just because it's the weekend and people are coming into St. Louis. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, I also forgot to mention the Grammy nominations came out today, so we can cover some of that as well.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is giving veterans and active military 10% off all month. That's 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
I want you at some point this weekend to head on over to retirementkey.com. That's the website of Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group. They're the official financial planners of this show. We do seminars with them 5 times a year. But here's your opportunity to go one-on-one into the office, meet with them, see what they're all about. It's very easy to schedule a meeting. You can call 314-993-9494. But here's another way to kind of cheat a little bit. If you go on that website, you'll see check back later to see upcoming events. And then there's a tab that says register. Well, if you press that, it'll take you right to a page where you can go one-on-one into the office, schedule a meeting, get a free copy of their latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Now, Thomas and his team have different strategies than the big brokerage houses, right? They're very successful. The key is safely linking to the market, and they can explain all of that to you. You want to read some rave reviews? Go to that website and see what some of the clients of Thomas have had to say over the decades. They've been doing this for a long time. RetirementKey.com for Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
This is Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. When I tell people who get in a crash, call a lawyer. But I often hear, I'm not the suing type. Listen, there are all types of people. Personally, I'm not the getting screwed type. If you're not the getting screwed type, call my firm, and we'll make sure that doesn't happen to you. Call Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Real talk, today's issues. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Here you go, a little Warren Zevon, Tim Sommer, as we talk about the Grammys. I love Warren Zevon so much, and every once in a while I get into a mood, and I'm so glad that he's going into the Rock Hall this weekend. Yeah, I mean, he's been dead for a little while now, hasn't he?
I think everyone is. And what's funny, and I say funny with a small f, is he's one of all of the inductees, there are two inductees, Warren Zevon and the White Stripes, who are being inducted by late-night TV hosts. Warren Zevon is being inducted by David Letterman, who I do understand was a fan. And
wow, that's interesting. Yeah,
and the White Stripes are being inducted by Conan O'Brien.
I like that. That's a little different. Might get me to tune in a little bit tomorrow night. All right, so this is good timing for you. The Grammy nominations came out today, and we were going to talk about this guy anyway, so let me play a little Bad Bunny because he received, I think that maybe he got a fewer nominations than they expected. It was supposed to be really heavy on Sabrina Carpenter and Bad Bunny, but they each got 6 each. But you had nominations in here from Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar with SZA, Chappell Roan, and Bruno Mars. Now, one thing that I noticed in these nominees is there's no guitars, I don't think they play guitars
You're right
in any
about
of these
that.
bands.
Also, in your Christmas Greatest Hits show, can you please replay the way you just pronounced SZA?
SZA. Well, she's from St. Louis, you know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she grew up here. I don't know how long she stayed here, but yeah, there's some St. Louis connections.
Since you mentioned Bad Bunny, I've been wanting for a while to talk about the Super Bowl thing, and I'm going to dispose of it. Dispose is the wrong word. I'm going to dispense of it very quickly, if it's okay with you.
Yeah, please do.
Because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl, and I can explain it very quickly. Roughly 60 million people throughout the world watch the Super Bowl. Got it?
It's a big number.
Yeah. Half of those, Mark, are from outside the United States. Of those half, a really profound majority, specifically around 25 million, are in Mexico and Spanish-speaking countries. The NFL and the NFL broadcasters are a business. Now, I'm going to tell you something which you may or may not know, and your listeners may or may not know. American country music, as big and as powerful and as influential as it may be in the United States, does not do very significant numbers at all outside of the United States. It especially does virtually no numbers south of the border of the United States. So, if the Super Bowl, and by which I mean the business of the Super Bowl, the business of the NFL, the business of the broadcasters, the business of the simulcasters, the business of all the people who broadcast the Super Bowl, if they're not going to put on an act that doesn't do business outside of the United States. Bad Bunny, a Spanish-speaking artist, immediately begins to attract the 30 million Spanish-speaking viewers of the Super Bowl outside of the United States. Everyone can get all, up in their panties about Bad Bunny being on the Super Bowl. It is a business.
Well, and I understand that to a certain extent, but let me just say this. And by the way, in fairness, and Sue, you know this, because I try to look at this, I'm like, what am I missing? And when I look him up, he is amongst the top streaming artists on the planet. Okay, and he had a very good year, so I get that. But to sound completely like a victim, a white victim, can we not get someone who is white that might play a guitar on the damn stage for the Super Bowl halftime show? Because there have to be some rock artists that we can kind of plug back in, but they never want to do that.
It's a very good question, and I don't have an answer for that. I really don't have an answer for that. I mean, I will say, and this is as political as I get, and I do not want to get political. I do want to point out, and this is worth knowing, this is worth pointing out, that anyone born in Puerto Rico has been in the United States. Anyone born in Puerto Rico since the year 1917 has been a citizen of the United States. And so Bad Bunny is American, and I just want to say that, and that's as political as I get.
I would bet, look, I said this, I bet it's going to be a good show. My guess is it's probably going to be better than Kendrick Lamar, which was weird to me last year. So I'll keep an open mind about it. But I just think if you look at the trend, and it's just somewhat disappointing. And
but
look,
I love to see my friends Would I love to see Darius Rucker up there? Absolutely. Would I love to see Billy Idol up there, who's an international star? Of course it would. I'm a guitar guy, and believe it or not, but guitar rock, Mark, it's like the silent majority of music listeners. It's like when Nixon and Agnew, going back 60 years, used to talk about the silent majority. Guitar rock is a silent majority, especially within the United States, but especially outside of the United States. There are still so many wonderful, powerful, creative, popular guitar rock bands. Now, why they couldn't find someone who held a guitar? Maybe they asked. Maybe they tried. Maybe they reached out to Bruce Springsteen. I don't know.
Well, they've done it before, but let me kind of transfer this into the Grammys, because the same thing exists that we've been talking about with the Rock Hall of Fame and the Super Bowl halftime show and the Grammys. And I mentioned the album of the year contenders and the record of the year contenders. You have here's album of the year: Bad Bunny, Justin Bieber, Sabrina Carpenter, Pusha T, Malice and Clips, never heard of that one, Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar, Leon Thomas, and Tyler, the Creator. I mean, there's not one. I could put albums in that, and there's a band that I love from L.A., these three young women who are sisters, Haim, and they put a record out that was fantastic.
Who are wonderful.
And they were nominated Best Rock Album, but you know what? That album's good enough to be nominated for Best Record of the Year or Best Album of the Year, but they will not put a rock artist into those categories, which to me is disqualifying for the Grammys.
I agree. I totally agree. And it may have to do with, I think there's something, and I can't put my finger on this. I really can't. There's something distorting about YouTube, and there's something distorting about Spotify. There's something about those numbers that doesn't reflect what really happens in between people's hearts and people's ears. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's, like if you look at even the new artist list here, my daughter would probably be fun because Alex Warren's on this list. That's one guy. Do you know anything about him, Alex Warren?
I will be honest and say I don't.
Yeah, guess what? He's like the one guy. I've talked to a couple other fathers whose daughters like that guy. He's the one that I just don't understand. I really don't. But the best new artist nominee, Olivia Dean, I like her quite a bit. The Marias, Addison Rae, Somber, I love Somber. I hope he wins there. Leon Thomas, Alex Warren, Lola Young, really good as well. So I like some of the nominees for Best New Artist.
Now, if you want to look at an interesting category, Mark, and of course when I say Mark, I mean all your listeners as well, look for Best Americana Performance.
Oh, yeah, let me look at this here. Do you have that in front of you? Because that is always
That's
interesting.
an interesting list. That's a very interesting list. The first person listed on that list is one of the most important artists in America today. And I'm not making a judgment, by the way. By important, I'm not saying he's good or bad, okay? One of the most important artists in America today, which is a fellow named Jesse Wells. Jesse Wells is an old school, and I mean old school, even though he's a young guy. He's an old school protest singer, like the way Woody Guthrie was, like the way Bob Dylan was in 1962. Jesse Wells is an old school protest singer who, much like the Sex Pistols, much like the punk rock bands, is not afraid to take a stance no matter how much it offends people. And I don't care if you're coming from the right. I don't care if you're coming from the left. I don't care if you're coming from the middle. I don't care if you're coming from Christ. I don't care if you're coming from Satan. I admire anyone who's willing to say, I don't give a damn what people think of me. I'm going to speak my truth. Jesse Wells, who, if you like Bob Dylan, if you like that sort of old school Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, Bob Dylan, early Bob Dylan folk, you will love Jesse Wells. And he's nominated in that category, and I think he's one of the most important artists in America right now.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with him, but in that Best Americana Performance, something did catch my attention. I love Maggie Rose and Grace Potter individually, and they did a song together. I just put it on one of my playlists entitled called Poison in My Well. So that seems interesting to me. Yeah, some of those,
These are people with guitars.
Yeah.
And I think Americana, just because we call someone an Americana roots performance, call it anything you like. These are people playing American music. And what was American music? American music was your best friend in 10th grade or 11th grade saying, hey, I know this kid who has a guitar. Let's go over and listen to the songs he used to play. That's American music. American music is what people used to sit around and play in their front rooms in 1910 when they were playing ukuleles and pianos. It's music that you make with your own hands. I'm not saying you can't make music with synthesizers or samplers with your own hands. Of course you can do that. But I'm saying there is something magical about picking up a box, a wooden box, Mark, with 6 strings on it and making noise.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go here, let's talk about something from overseas.
Sure.
We're talking about America. Because are you telling me the Sex Pistols actually got together for a show this week? It's their 50th anniversary?
Well, the Sex Pistols, without their famous lead singer, Johnny Rotten,
Right.
have been on tour for a while.
I guess I didn't know that they were still doing
They have
stuff.
been on tour for about a year and a half and being very well received. So the original band, which is bassist Glenn Matlock, guitarist Steve Jones, drummer Paul Cook, and a vocalist named Frank Turner, but I could be wrong about that, have been touring as the Sex Pistols, and they've been doing great business, and they've been sounding great. But what's so strange to me, 50 years. Yesterday marked the 50th, 50, half a century anniversary of the first gig by the Sex Pistols. And if you were 12, 13, 14, 15 years old in 1976, 1977, the Sex Pistols were the people who drew a line in the sand and said, this is what used to be, this is the future. And we're still living in that future. We're still very much living in the future the Sex Pistols created, I think.
Well, why did Johnny Rotten, I mean, he's still alive, right?
Yeah, and he's still touring.
So
He
why
still tours
they
with
just
his
one of those
band,
bands that just
DIL,
can't get it?
And right now, he's been on a very long spoken word tour in England. He hasn't come to America with it yet. I don't know. He has toured with the Sex Pistols as recently as I think about 15 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
But right now, he refuses to. I think, but I wouldn't want to be quoted on this. I think it may have to do with some disagreement about a movie that was made about 5 or 10 years ago, about 8 years ago. There was a movie, I think either it might have been a Netflix or an HBO thing. I can look it up, but of course, I'm going to keep on talking.
Yeah, I don't know the
There's a
backstory
movie-
on that, but it's just interesting. These rock and roll disagreements. I mean, isn't it? Did I see something a couple of weeks ago that now even Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks probably through their people are talking, okay, maybe we just need to do it one more time, right? Even though they hate each other's guts.
And you know what? They will. And they will do it. And they will do it. I'd like, the fact is they will do it for the money, which is so much more than it used to be. As we've talked about on the show before, bands can now make millions on a tour, whereas they used to be able to just make tens of thousands. They can now make millions. But I have to think there's only so far you can go to be willing to humiliate yourself to be on stage with someone you don't love or don't like or don't respect. So even if Fleetwood Mac get together, even if Buckingham Nicks get together, and I hope they do, I think regardless of the fact that money may be at the root of it, I also think both respect for their legacy, for the love the audience has shown them over the years, all of that will be part of it, too.
I hope so. I really do. I was glad. I really, and this is probably 2 trips ago, but I saw them when Christine was back with the band, and I was really glad because I'd seen Fleetwood Mac over the years many times without Christine McVie, and I was real happy to see
Well, she
her
was the
one
heart of the
last
band.
time.
She was the heart of the band.
Absolutely. All right, Tim Sommer, great to have you on as always.
pleasure.
Enjoy your Rock and Roll Hall of Fame weekend, and we'll talk soon enough. Take care. I'll go out with
You'd be
Warren Zevon here. Audio cut of the day is coming up.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
It's pitch black out there, Mark. Just a heads up there.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, it's
So
like
weird.
midnight. It's so weird. And we have an accident eastbound 6440 past 170. It's blocking the right lane, and traffic is still slow through there. Stall reported northbound 170. Now, this one is at Natural Bridge. That's reported in the right lane as well. And I see some volume at Airport Road. Now, westbound 70, some volume out of downtown, but it's not bad. It was just at Jennings Station Road. Then things open up a bit and look better, but it slows again in pockets. Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through Wentzville. And if you're headed in from Illinois, there is some volume on the Poplar Street Bridge. It's eastbound, though, that is jammed, headed for 70. That's due to road work. Accident reported now on 44 westbound, just past the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. Traffic is jam-packed past the bridge. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Visit 971talk.com/events and enjoy Trans-Siberian Orchestra, a Christmas tradition at Enterprise Center December 23rd. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Visit 971talk.com.
In the next 10 minutes, I will be talking about Michael's Flooring Outlet and Michael's Baths. Two different companies. So let me focus first on Michael's Flooring Outlet. Mike Reynolds and his team. I've known him now for about 5 years. They did a fantastic project in my home. It was about a year ago to the date. We took some carpeting out of 2 rooms upstairs. Mike and his team came. I actually took the carpeting out. I couldn't believe I could do some manual labor on my own, but that saved a little money. Mike and his team came in, then put the hard flooring in my daughter's room, the room across. Then I get home. I was out of town that weekend going to see my grandson in Houston. I came back and I noticed that there was a bunch of the flooring products still left. And we had previously talked about doing a project in the basement where my bunny hutch currently sits for Oreo the bunny. You can follow him, of course, on Instagram. Oreo Smorio the bunny. 2-3 million followers, something like that. But the point is that Michael's Flooring Outlet can help you. They can do it on a budget. You want hard flooring, soft flooring. You need some repair work done. All of that is available with 3 great locations open every day of the week except for Sunday, and the website igotfloored.com. They're in Old Town St. Peters, in Darden Prairie, in Creve Coeur, on Olive. Michael's Flooring Outlet.
Extra, read all about it.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. The Federal Reserve just dropped interest rates again. And that means you can save even more money on your mortgage. If you've been waiting for the right time to refinance, this is it. Our customers are saving hundreds, even thousands every month. What could you do with an extra $1,000 every month? You can also pull cash out of your home's equity to pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or just get ahead. If you refinance now, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll even pay for your appraisal. But don't wait. Rates can rise again anytime, and they change fast. For today's rate, call Golden Oak Lending now at 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
This is St. Louis Conservative. No filters, no fluff. Mark Reardon is back on the mic.
Hey, I thought I'd close with one of our favorite songs, Sue, today, right?
Yay!
Well, you know, they took my bumper music away, so Fridays I cheat a little bit and I throw some of my music in, like this one, which we both love dearly,
Yes, we
by
do.
Mr. Eddie Money, the late great Eddie Money, right?
Yep.
And we were talking about Warren Zevon, and you told me you looked up, he died in 2003?
Yeah, at age 56. It's been a long time.
I knew it was a while ago, but that really shocked me when I heard you say that. Unbelievable. Well, look, we got a big weekend coming up. I know you have plans. I got football plans tomorrow. I was supposed to play at 1 o'clock on Sunday golf at a country club here in St. Louis. and it's going to be like 35 degrees and 25-mile-per-hour winds. So I think we're moving it to Topgolf, so we have a little bit more comfort. But look, we are in for it. Dave Murray's been sharing this forecast. Things are going to change here very quickly, Sue. I'd say even tomorrow it's going to seem, with a high temperature of only 60 and with cloudy skies, and tomorrow's going to be windy. So you know how much the wind affects.
I don't like that.
Yeah, but listen to this. So 65 here tomorrow, overnight. Saturday into Sunday, 35. Sunday's high, 38. Overnight into Monday, 25. 40 for Monday, overnight 25. For Veterans Day, 57 with an overnight low of 41. So, yeah, things are a-changing here. It's, we just started fall, but it's going to feel like winter, and that's what always happens, right? There's never a happy medium.
No. Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
Government still closed. Airline cancellations piling up. This is Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
You're going to see more cancellations. We're still going to watch the staffing triggers. What that means is air traffic controllers are calling in sick. That happens in different parts of the country. As that happens, you'll also see additional delays throughout the American airspace. I mean, the problem we really have is air traffic controllers aren't being paid, and they're being forced to take secondary jobs. Again, whether it's waiting tables or driving Uber, instead of coming to towers and doing their day jobs because they're paying for the necessities of their family.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune has had enough.
I mean, these people are scared spitless of their base, and that's what's happening. Yesterday was a bullying session. The far left in the Democrat caucus bullied the reasonable ones out of coming to the table and settling this. I'm still hoping that these people are going to come to the table, and we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to get wrapped up. I was going to start a pool. What's going to end quicker, the YouTube-Disney dispute or the government shutdown? That's a tough call.
That's a tough call.
It really is. Have a great weekend, Sue.
You too.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, let's take a look at this. If you are headed into Illinois, it's still a slow go, but it's mainly from about 3rd Street through 70. And if you're headed in from Illinois, there's some moderate volume downtown on the Poplar. Now, there was an accident westbound 44 headed into the depressed section in front of the Arch grounds, so some slow-moving traffic there. And an accident eastbound 6440 past 170 was in the road. Eastbound is still back through Hampton. Out west, it's 40 that's worse. It's slow Highway N out through the 70 split. And 70, just some moderate volume, Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through Wentzville. Eastbound is still slow, headed for Wentzville, all due to an earlier accident. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, I talked about Michael's Flooring. Let me talk about Michael's Bass again. 2 different companies. Mike Reynolds has Michael's Flooring. This is Mike Gower, and he has got a great locally owned and operated, family-run operation, Michael's Bass, where they come in with top-quality, American-made products and great work, 30 to 50% less on your bid than the competition. And right now, if you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk, a free shower door or $500 off your project. They have a great team here in St. Louis. Mike Gower's been doing this for a long time. His daughter, Melody, will take your call. They'll get someone out to do an estimate. You may be looking at a total remodel, maybe to make something a little fresher. Maybe you're just going to get rid of a bathtub and make it into a walk-in shower. That seems to be the trend. They also work with people who are approved by the VA for a grant that will pay for most, if not all, of the price for the bathroom project. So call Michael's Bass today, 636-775-0800. The website is michaelsbass.com. Again, don't forget, a great offer for you right now, $500 off your project or a free shower door. Michael's Bass.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential,